about to be showtime. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and see. All right. We're in the lovely world of Oceania. Nice, nice place created by our lovely player Montezuma over there. Is everyone set and good to go and have enough popcorn drinks for this novella that's about to be read? It is broken up into chapters, so if you need a bathroom break whenever you hear a chapter setting, you can just kind of raise your hand and you can use the bathroom.
So
I know, I mean, I'm not nervous or anything right now,
no,
but
you just took a huge swig of your
of this delicious yum yum juice.
Alright, quit putting it off. Let's do it.
Yeah, I know.
Do it. Get started.
All right. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming. I will see you all next week. Good session. All right. Without further ado, let's get started on this. Chapter 1: The Man from Nowhere. It was another hot, humid afternoon in the Guyana jungles. The Guyana jungle was alive with the sounds of various insects and animals. A lone marsh deer was making its way to one of the many ponds for a drink. As it reaches the clearing, its senses are on high alert as it scans the area, ears twitching with every sound. It moves closer to the water's edge, unaware of the danger looking at the edge of the clearing. One of the jungle's most apex predators is in waiting in ambush. Perfect, he said to himself. Just a little closer. Montezuma was lying stomach down, watching as the deer inched ever closer. With beads of sweat dripping down his brow and mosquitoes buzzing in his ear, he dare not move. This is it. Tonight we eat meat, not fish. Then he felt it. 100 tiny little legs skittering across his calf. Montezuma dare not even swallow. For a bite of a Guyana centipede could send a man into the most painful hallucination. And he was not looking for a repeat of the last hunt. He felt it move its way up his back and eventually resting on his neck and jaw, his eyes wide. It took every ounce of willpower not to scream or move. Asanog, give me strength, he silently prayed. With a swack, the centipede was ripped from his face. Glancing to his right, he could see a bull chameleon devouring the centipede. Thank you, Asanog. He exhaled, bringing his attention back to his prey. The marsh deer was looking in his direction now, ears scanning. Oh no, I must have been discovered. Montezuma's grip tightened around his spear. It's now or nothing. Pushing himself up and simultaneously letting loose his spear, the deer started to flee, but Montezuma judged it perfectly, his spear flying true, on target, to pierce the lungs and heart for a quick, humane kill. Quick pause, I need a drink. He watched in his anticipation, and just before the moment of impact, a yellow blur collided with the deer, knocking it out of the way of his spear. On his feet now, Montezuma could see the culprit, one of the jungle's top predators, a dire jaguar, just a few feet away, with its mouth around the neck of the marsh deer. Their gazes met, the jaguar releasing the now dead marsh deer. Montezuma and the jaguar began to circle each other, sizing each other up, looking for a moment to strike. You okay?
Yeah, we lost you.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, Brittany said she lost me.
Keep going.
All right, where was I? All right, sizing each other up for a moment to strike. The jaguar struck first, leaping towards Montezuma, mouth open and claws outstretched. He was ready though. Montezuma dropped down, grabbing both claws, placing his foot in the jaguar's underside. Using the momentum, he kicked the jaguar over him, sending it crashing into a tree with such force it shook the jungle around them, causing all the nearby birds to take flight. Montezuma retrieved his spear as the jaguar regained its feet. They began to circle each other again, the jaguar stopping between the deer and him. That's when he heard it. 2 low mews. Behind the jaguar, Montezuma saw 2 dire jaguar cubs creep out of the tree line and start eating into their way into the deer. They were small and skinnier than they should have been. Montezuma returned his gaze to the mother jaguar. She remained between the two cubs. And making herself as large as possible, her fangs bared and growling. "The kill is yours, proud matriarch," Montezuma said with a slight bow. "If I could not kill it fast enough, then it is not my kill." As if the jaguar knew what he was saying, Montezuma watched it as she turned to the deer, bit into its neck, and dragged it back into the jungle with the cubs bounding behind it. "There goes hours of work," he mumbled as he turned to head back to his village. "I hate fish." One pause. Atahualpa was a small village on the western shores of the Punrati Sea, relatively untouched by time and the outside world. This was Montezuma's home. It was simple, and that's the way he liked it, he thought to himself. Many times he had scouted the jungles around the city of Punrati. He always found it loud and messy. "I see the hunt was not fruitful." "Elder Atal," Montezuma replied, dropping to one knee and lowering his head. "Stop that. It's grandma to you, Monty," Atal said warmingly. "I'm sorry the hunt was unsuccessful. I was this close," he said, holding his thumb and index finger up. "But a jaguar stole my—" "If you couldn't kill it fast enough, it's not your kill," Atal interrupted, unimpressed. Montezuma lowered his head at the remark. "Cheer up, Monty. Our harvest is bountiful, our ocean's kind," she continued. Almost as if on cue came cheering from the village. "Mazatal's back!" One of the villagers cheered. Montezuma groaned. From towards the ocean, entering the village, sunsetting behind his back, was a short, slender villager, a child in size compared to Montezuma's enormous stature and physique. And across his back, a net full of fish, and a flock of adoring villagers. Montezuma groaned again. "Why do you give your brother such a hard time, Monty?" Atal asked. "He found a way to contribute to our village." "There's no honor in fishing," Montezuma snapped. "Oh, look at me. I'm gonna sit in a canoe and throw my net in the water. Where's the skill? Where's the honor?" "Where's your offering again?" Atal said sheepishly. Montezuma groaned, lowering his head yet again. "It seems we have visitors as well," Atal said softly. Montezuma raised his head to see two individuals behind Mazatal, their clothing foreign, unlike anything he had seen around Punrati, and their skin pale. The welcome celebration was in full swing now, as customary when outsiders came to the village. It was lively with the outsiders dancing and drinking with the villagers. Normally Montezuma would have been deep in drink and dancing himself, but something wasn't sitting right with him about the outsiders. He thought back to the start of the celebration, when the outsiders were taken to the elder's hut to give honor to her and the guardian spirits of the tribe. Excuse me. The way their eyes fell upon the totems of the guardian spirits. Montezuma snapped back to the present to see the two were now sitting in front of the bonfire, deep in conversation. If only he knew their tongue, he thought. One of the outsiders had taken notice to him now. Still in conversation with the other, he smiled and raised a glass to Montezuma. As the night grew longer, the festivities had dwindled as the bonfire died down. Most of the villagers had returned to their huts or were splayed out in a drunken stupor. However, Montezuma remained vigilant at his post between the elder's hut and the celebration site. As he leaned against the tree, arms crossed, he noticed one of the outsiders started to stumble towards him with two cups in his hand. It was the one who had previously raised his cup to him earlier in the night. The man presented one of the cups, and with an eager but friendly smile, Montezuma's gut reaction was to refuse the drink. However, refusing a drink, especially one from a celebrated guest, was a great dishonor to oneself. Montezuma snatched up the cup from the outsider's hand and downed it with one powerful gulp. As he wiped his mouth, his gaze returned to the outsider, who was watching him intently. The world started to darken around him. His legs began to fail him. The last thing Montezuma could see was the outsider's face, the same friendly smile, but his eyes bearing a sinister glare. Montezuma heard a scream ring out. His eyes opened slowly, the world spinning around him. He heard shouting, but he could not make out what it was. All he knew is that it came from the elder's hut. Montezuma slowly got his feet underneath him and started to stumble towards the hut, each step more painful than anything he had ever experienced. Then he saw them. Both outsiders came running out of the elder's hut, shouting at each other. His vision reddened. He could no longer feel the pain in his body. Montezuma took up a full sprint at the outsiders. His vision locked on the one who had given him the drink. Surprise and terror filled the outsider's face. Montezuma did not care. In an instant he was upon him. Montezuma snatched him up by his neck with both hands, squeezing down as hard as he could. The outsider's face turned even paler, eyes reddening as the blood vessels began to rupture. Montezuma then felt a sharp pain in his back as he drew up the outsider. His vision started to blacken again. He could see the outsider shouting something to the other one who had escaped. They began to flee, and with his last bit of strength, Montezuma grabbed his hunting knife and flung it at the fleeing outsiders. The knife missed its mark, instead grazing the satchel on one of the outsiders. As the knife cut into the satchel, an object fell from it. The man did not seem to notice as he supported the other while they ran. With Montezuma's last bit of strength, he crawled towards the object. Arm outstretched, fingers just gripping onto it as he pulled it to himself. The guardian totem of the elephant, Asanag. Montezuma's vision went black. Rise, Montezuma. A powerful, yet calming voice echoed in his ears. Montezuma slowly opened his eyes, sitting up. Everywhere around him was black, except for a luminous figure sitting off to his right. There, adorned in bright silks of yellow and blue, a man sat, with skin a grayish hue, and the head of an elephant. What is this place? Is this the afterlife? Are you Asanang? Montezuma asked alarmingly. The figure smiled. Yes, Montezuma. To both your questions, Asanag said calmly. However, your time here is short. You are needed on the mortal plane. I don't understand. Montezuma started before Asanag silenced him by raising his hand. The totems of your tribe have been entrusted with far more than just tributes to the gods. They are a prison. Jaguar, vulture, and elephant are the wardens, and the goat is the charge. Within the goat contains Baphomet, a spirit most dangerous and powerful. You must find the totems, Montezuma. Prevent the prison from opening. Montezuma stared in shock, mouth agape, at Asanag, still trying to come to terms with everything he was seeing and experiencing. I know it's a lot to take in, but remember, Montezuma, an elephant never forgets, Asanag calmly stated as he reached out, placing his hand on Montezuma's forehead. In that instant, Montezuma's vision went back to the celebration in the village, seeing the outsiders talking at the fire as he did before, but this time it was different. Can you believe it, Jacob? The totem of Bahamut is right here in a village of savages! One of the outsiders exclaimed. I know, Percival. Years of exploration have led to this moment. Not even Professor Ingram could find it. We will be legends at the university. The matter is getting it now. I would say we just walk in and take it while they sleep, but Mongo Bongo over there has not stopped watching us, Percival irritatingly stated. You leave that to me, Percy, old chum. Jacob smiled, raising his glass to Montezuma. Montezuma's vision then snapped to the moments just before he lost consciousness. I thought you dealt with him, Percival yelled. Jacob could only wheeze. Let's get to the billet and get out of this god's-forsaken place, Percival exclaimed. Montezuma's eyes opened to see his brother standing over him. You're awake, thank Asanug, Mazatal said, tears beginning to form. Montezuma smiled at him. Asanug has smiled upon me. It is not yet my time, little brother. Where's Elder Atal? I have an important message to tell her. Mazatal began to bawl as emotions overtook him. She's gone. The monsters slew her, and they took the totems, and it's all because of me. Montezuma reached out to his brother, both overcome by the loss of their grandmother. As is tradition in the village gathered around a large pyre to send Elder Atal to the afterlife. Montezuma and Mazatal watched together as the woman who raised them was engulfed in roaring flames. Your honor has not been lost today, Mazatal, Montezuma said calmingly. You did what is expected of our culture. It was the outsiders who sullied your kindness and hospitality. It is I who failed the village. I could not keep the elders safe, and I lost our sacred totems. Montezuma approached the flames, outstretching his hand. In an instant he drew his hunting knife and sliced open the palm of his hand and clenched his fist, causing blood to drip onto the flames. On my life and my honor, I will return the totems and slay those who have taken you from us. Montezuma then turned to Mazatal. Take care of the village and keep them fed. Quick pause. Montezuma set out to Punrati. Asanag's gift had allowed him to speak the common tongue of the outsiders. He had found that the Bill of Tea was a trade ship traveling east along the southern shores of Oceania. And so his journey led him to all the southern port towns along the coast, trying to find the elusive ship, eventually landing in South Harbor. "Aye, a ship passed through here not but a few days ago," the barkeep said. "Drunken lot said they were heading to university in Hydel." "Thank you, kind sir. May Asanag smile upon you," Montezuma said with a bow, and turned to leave. "Finally, it looks like my journey will be at an end. Jacob, Percival, you will answer for the honor you have stolen from me and my people." "Oi, did you hear what I said, Greenskin?" Montezuma glanced over his shoulder and saw 4 men standing around a table, and a woman with green skin and red hair staring into her mug. He could see the pain in her face, the same pain he saw in Mazatul. "Probably not. She's just a dumb orc," one of the men drunkenly slurred. "I'll say it once more. Get your filthy green skin hide out of here, or we'll skin you alive." She didn't move. She continued to stare into her mug. "Hey, isn't this the one from the monastery?" "I think it is. I heard she went rabid and murdered everyone up there after they took her in. She's nothing but a filthy, savage moss." Before he could finish the words, a mug smashed into the drunkard's face. She was up now, leaping over the table with a haymaker or a punch to the closest drunkard in the group. Montezuma could see the raw fury in her eyes. Then the brawl ensued. 4 against 1. Montezuma didn't like her odds. "Honorless paleskins," he muttered, and began to walk towards the calamity that was unfolding in front of him. She knocked one of the men out cold. Now there was 3. As she looked for her next target, she was struck in the back with a chair, it splintering as it made contact, dropping her to the floor. The drunkards were on her now, kicking and punching her. Montezuma got to them. Grabbing the closest one by the head with his massive hand, palming it as if it were a ball, he threw him aside, sending the man crashing through a window. The rest of the men paused to see what had happened to their friend. The orc woman took this time to regain her bearing, and pressed her attack. Rising swiftly, she delivered an uppercut to the man who had struck her with the chair. The sound of bones and teeth shattering rang out as she made contact. The final man, seeing what had just unfolded, started to turn and run, but was snatched up by Montezuma. Grabbing him by the throat, he slammed the final man into an adjacent table. Montezuma turned back to the woman, only to see a green fist coming straight at him, slamming into his chest. He did not so much as move as it made impact, the fist still firmly embedded in his chest. The woman's head was slightly lowered. She seemed frozen in place. "It is okay, my friend. What ails your heart?" Montezuma said softly as he gently lowered her fist from her chest. The woman raised her head slightly. Montezuma could see tears forming in her eyes. Why hasn't he come back?" she said. That's chapter 1 there. Yes. Yes. Jaguar, vulture, and elephant. You are currently in possession of the elephant one. Yes, the goat. So what was said in your story is the totems are actually a prison and a ward. The spirit and soul of Baphomet's in the goat totem, and the 3 other totems are what keeps him locked away. Yep. Mm-hmm. And trying to get your stuff back, and you know it's going to Hydel. Yeah. Well, we'll just say a struggle or something happened, and they're drunk asshole university people. They stabbed your grandma. I'll let you fill in the mind picture. Yeah, they didn't mean to. A struggle happened. You know, people die. All right. Yeah, that whole beginning intro scene with the Jaguar, I just threw back in for you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I went off of everything that you told me you wanted your character to be. So, all right. Uh, Chapter 2, The Oath to Saira. Deanne breathes in deeply and exhales slowly. The sound of the rope stretching to its maximum tension as the pugil dummy swings out echoes in her ear. Here it comes, she says to herself. Deanne, anticipating the direction of the pugil, dodges the attack, performing an aerial over the balance post. Wrong! You're not in a circus, pirouette! Deanne growls, bringing her sword around to strike. Wrong! Footwork! Deanna hesitates, causing the pugil to knock her from the balance post into the mud below. Maybe if I didn't have someone chirping in my ear every 2 seconds, I wouldn't have this issue, she snarled, removing the blindfold. Oh, I'm sorry, lass. I'll make sure all the baddies are quiet and proper, so you can swing your sword around like an untrained buffoon. Deanne looked up to see a sturdy dwarf in ornate armor with his hand outstretched. You're just upset your little legs can't do that, she retorts, grasping him by the forearm, pulling herself up. Listen here, you little shite. I ain't ever need any fancy twirling to best my foes. Jealousy doesn't suit you, Ulfgar. Ulfgar stared Deanna down, a look that would have made a lesser man tremble. Then Ulfgar gave a smirk, followed by a bellowing laughter. Aye, as he clasped her on the shoulder. Deanna joined him in the laughter. So, why the dress armor? You always said a knight in shining armor has never had his mettle tested. I know, lass, Ulfgar replied in a defeated tone. But the High Paladin has summoned me to Heidel, and he's a stickler for tradition. What does he want? Ulfgar shaking his head. I don't know. Ulfgar's hand began to glow with a golden light, and as he muttered an incantation summoning his warhorse into existence. When will I be knighted? Deanne asked, obvious frustration in her voice. Soon, lass. Ulfgar grunted as he began to mount. You keep saying that. I have shown more aptitude than any of the squires here. It's because of these, isn't it? Pointing at her tusks, with anger in her voice. It was no secret. Deanne's orc heritage had not exactly made her life easy, growing up in an area where orcs were feared and uncommon. But she was always treated as an equal at the monastery. Give it time, lass, he said in a voice that of a father talking to an anxious child. You know the order are stubborn in their own ways. It's bullshit, and you know it. They're never going to approve a monster like me, so stop lying to me, you self-righteous stone shitter. Deanne shouted, with tears starting to form in the corners of her eyes. The training grounds of the monastery fell silent. All the training had ceased, squires and paladins alike all watching the exchange. Ulfgar, who was in mid-mount, lowered himself back down on the ground and began to walk towards Deanna, drawing his sword with a look of focus and anger that she had never seen before. Deanne went to take a step back, but was frozen in place with fear. Kneel! Ulfgar barked. Deanne dropped to a knee without even realizing it. Oh no, I pushed him too far this time, Deanne said to herself, eyes closed tight, fearing what was next to come. Stupid. No one talks to a Justicar that way. She continued, and then she felt it. A blade resting on her shoulder, and then another, and then another. She opened her eyes to see Ulfgar and the rest of the paladins of the monastery around her, all sharing the same cold stare as Ulfgar. In unison, Ulfgar and the paladins chanted, We are warriors of light, armored in faith, shielded by devotion and armed with purity and purpose. But greater even than these, we carry the light of the divine Saira into the darkest places to purge evil, wherever it may be found. Pro fraterbis maius. Rise, Paladin Deanne. She slowly rose, eyes locked on Ulfgar, still not fully sure what just happened. Beneath Ulfgar's stone-cold stare, he cracked a smile. Welcome to the Order of Saira, Deanne. And if you call yourself a monster again, I'll cleave you in twee, he said, tapping his blade on her shoulder. With a smile. But the Order, Deanne started. Don't you worry about those prissy gents in their high tower. I'll handle them. Still in shock, Deanne was flooded with cheers and shoulder claps and hugs. Deanne, go to South Arbor. Have a drink with the lads. I'll be back in a fortnight, Ulfgar said cheerfully as he mounted his horse and rode off towards Heidel. Paladin of Saira, Deanne muttered to herself in disbelief, staring into the heavens. After a long night of drinking and festivities, and a few brawls mostly started by her from getting cross looks from locals, Deanne and her fellow paladins started their trek back to the monastery. "You go ahead, lads. I'll catch up with you later at the monastery," Deanne bade her companions. "Don't go terrorizing the locals and eating their children," one of the paladins jested. "The locals are more worried about you betting their sheep, Eric," Deanne shot back, everyone erupting with laughter, to include Eric. As they parted ways, Deanne went to a small clearing in the woods not too far from the monastery. In that clearing were two rock piles with two makeshift wood placards which read the names Suthra and Edwin. Deanne sat down between the two greys, pulling out a bottle of mead that she swiped from the tavern. "Ma, da, I did it. I was knighted today," she said in a low voice, taking a swig from the bottle. "I know you always found the paladins to be too prissy to be true warriors, Ma, but Ulfgar is strict and brutal. I think you would have gotten along with him well. Da, I never knew why you spoke so highly of Saira until I went to the monastery. She is both kind and fierce, like Ma. I wish you were both around to see this. I miss you both." Deanne finishes her mead with one big swig and lays down in the cool damp grass, staring into the stars. "A paladin of Saira," she muttered one last time before drifting to sleep. Hours later, Deanne woke to the sound of a distant battle and screaming. "The monastery," she said uneasily. Diane took off in a full sprint, adrenaline coursing through her veins, sobering her up. As she got closer, she could see an orange glow through the trees. Every step closer, she could feel the heat increasing. Finally, as she broke the edge of the forest, she could see it. The monastery in flames. She drew her sword and entered the monastery grounds. It was deathly quiet. Bodies everywhere, squires, monks, and paladins alike, all torn to pieces, even the horses. "What in Saira's name?" she exclaimed. An anguished scream broke the silence. "The temple!" She panted, running to the main temple doors. Then it hit her, the sharp odor of sulfur. "Demons? But how? This is hallowed ground!" The screams continued. As she crossed the threshold of the temple, she saw it. A hulking red creature with brown leathery wings and the head of a goat. In its hands, covered in blood, was Eric. He was breathing heavy, one eye barely open, and an arm missing. "Well, since you don't have the information I want, how about we play a little game with your girlfriend who just joined us?" the creature said gleefully in a deep rumbling voice, slowly turning his head towards Deanna. "She loves you," he said playfully as he ripped off Eric's other arm. Eric screamed out in pain. "She loves you not," it continued as it tore off Eric's leg, all the while maintaining eye contact with Deanne. Deanne froze. Her fear had overtaken her, her knuckles white, gripping onto their sword. "Stop," she whimpered, barely getting the words out. "She loves you," he bellowed, removing Eric's last leg. The creature then moving its enormous hand, covering Eric's head, its black eyes piercing into Deanna. "She loves you not," it finished, tearing Eric's head from his torso. All she could hear was the bellowing laughter of the demon. "Eric!" she screamed. Regaining control of her body, she charged toward the demon, raising her sword high above her head. "Cute. The little worm thinks she can hurt me," it said musingly, tossing Eric's torso aside. "I am Nekrat. No mortal can harm..." Rawr! It shrieked as Diane's blade cut into his thigh, a white flame erupting from the wound. "Impossible!" Nekrat yelled, looking up from the wound and back at Deanne. She was different, her once red eyes now a luminous gold. "Nephilim!" Nekrat growled through his fangs. Deanne stepped forward to press the attack. Then everything went white. "Ugh, my head. I drank too much. What a fucked up dream." Rubbing her brow, nursing her headache. Deanne's eyes began to open as she felt raindrops hit her face. "Why is there a hole in the roof?" She sat herself up, still holding her head. Deanne looked down at herself to see that she was covered in black blood. Frantically, she scoots herself backwards, running into an altar. Breathing heavy, Deanne looks around, taking in all the damage of the temple, her gaze eventually falling on Eric's lifeless head, staring back at her. She screams. "It's almost been 2 fortnights since then," Deanne said, arms wrapped around her knees, staring into a campfire. This Ulfgar seems to be a man of great honor, Montezuma said as he tossed more wood into the fire. There must be a reason why he hasn't returned. Deanne said nothing as she continued to stare at the fire. What happened to your home? Montezuma continued. Deanne lowered her head, squeezing her knees. I haven't been back since that night. Montezuma's eyes went wide and he quickly rose, kicking dirt over the fire, extinguishing it. He grabbed Diane by the hand, yanking her to her feet. What are you doing? We're going to reclaim your honor and that of your comrades. Well, where is this monastery? I can't go back. Montezuma turned, grabbing Deanna by the shoulder, staring into her eyes. Your friends have not properly been sent to the next life. We are going to fix that, Montezuma said in a serious tone. As they approached the monastery, the putrid smell of death was in the air. The monastery was quiet, the ground still blackened from the fire from the fateful night. But something was amiss. Where are they? Deanna exclaimed. The monastery grounds were empty. Not a single sign of conflict. All the bodies were missing. Not even so much as a broken weapon lay about. What in Zatanna's name is going on? As Deanne said that, she noticed a hooded figure emerge from the side of the main temple and proceeded to the rear of the building. Grave robbers, she swore. We must stalk this prey, Montezuma started. But it was already too late. Deanne had taken off in a full sprint. Montezuma followed after her. As she rounded the corner, she saw it. All the members of the monastery formed in rows and columns, all with white blankets draped over them, and at the foot of them, the hooded figure. Deanne became frozen with shock of seeing all of her comrades. Who are you? She yelled, weapon drawn. Do not be alarmed, the hooded figure said, turning towards Deanna, a figurine lowering his hood, revealing a human male with brown mid-length hair. I am a friend, he said with a smile. And that is chapter 2.
My character's name is said Deanne. I think Austin said it like 4 different ways.
Yeah, Deanne, Diana, Deanna. So, Deanne.
Yeah. Alright, let's do this.
All right. Yes, Deanne. There you go, Chris.
Yeah, not DN, Deanne.
Yeah. All right. Chapter 3, The Healing Heart. Oi, who's the new guy? That's Marcus Goldriver. Just approved for patrol. A pair of militiamen looked on to see a young man, not even 18 winters old, sitting at the base of a guard tower, sharpening the blade of his sword in a smooth, steady rhythm. Hey, he's a little young, don't he? Aye. But apparently he's something fierce. Whole family murdered by greencaps 3 winters ago. Been training like a demon ever since. With a cold, blank look on his face the whole time. Never so much as a smile or grin. Bloody weirdo, I tell ya. But rotten luck for him. Greencaps haven't been in the area for about 2 winters. And all the other bandits were killed or imprisoned by those Sire Paladin fellows. So, I don't know what he's expecting. Sergeant, are you done gossiping about our newest recruit? Came a stern voice from behind. The two militiamen turned to see their captain standing behind him. We're sorry, Captain Talos, the sergeant of the guard stated nervously. Then grab your men and get on your route, Talos said with obvious irritation in his voice. Aye, Captain. Well, why are we even doing this? There hasn't been bandits or vermin in over a winter. And the sergeant was cut short by Captain Talos' stare. Sorry, Captain. We'll get moving right away. Come on, you lot, get moving, the sergeant called out to the rest of the militia. Marcus placed his whetstone down, stood up, performed a swift 3-strike combo with his sword, then inspected the blade for any imperfections before sheathing it. He then inspected multiple daggers he had fastened on different parts of his studded leather, before joining the rest of the militia. Easy there, hero. We ain't expecting no ancients on our nature walk, the sergeant jested. Marcus just walked past him towards the main gate without acknowledging the mark. Fucking bloody weirdo. Outside Port Rat, the militia broke up into teams of 4, and started to make their way along the route. Oi, Sarge, why have we had to take the new guy? Because he's new and the captain said so, the sergeant said, with obviously annoyed. Why are we even doing this? There hasn't been a bleeding bandit. Sergeant, why'd you stop? The sergeant turned to the militia and revealing an arrow deeply embedded through his eye before slumping to the floor. Charge! Came a cry as 6 bandits came running out of the wood line. An arrow whizzed past the militiaman, striking his partner next to him in the throat, dropping him. The man panicked, diving into a ditch along the roadside. I don't want to die, The militiaman begged. Then he heard it, the sound of intense combat. Peeking his head out over the ditch, he watched as Marcus took on a group of bandits. It was like something out of a story. He watched as Marcus tore through the bandits effortlessly as an owlbear would through a flock of sheep, and just as violent. One by one, he watched as Marcus made his way through the sea of bandits, leaving a wake of bodies and severed limbs. And just as quickly as it started, it was over. As he picked himself up, he saw Marcus walking over to a bandit who was trying to crawl away. Marcus kicked the bandit over, causing him to turn over on his back. He could tell that Marcus was saying something, but he couldn't make out the words. Then he watched as Marcus slowly ran his dagger through the bandit's ribcage. The militiaman made his way to Marcus, limping. "We have to go," the man said in a panicked voice. "Your sergeant's dead. We have to tell the captain." Marcus just simply wiped the blood from his dagger onto the bandit and started to walk towards the woods. Slowly, the militiaman made his way back to Port Rat. Captain Talus was preparing to deploy more guards to recover the men and deal with the new threat when a cry came out. "Marcus is at the gate!" Talus ceased his preparations and made haste to the main gate. With a slight limp completely covered in blood, Marcus walked through the gate. The captain approached him. Marcus tossed down about a dozen bloody green bandanas. Talus was in shock. He looked back at Marcus to see the same cold, dead look in his face. Marcus proceeded to walk past the captain into Port Rat. Ah. 3 winters had passed since the event with the Green Caps. Marcus stayed with the guard for one of those winters before moving to mercenary work. Some say it was because of him that the area around Port Rat was so safe. He had been dubbed by the locals as the Bane of Bandits. Like most nights, Marcus was lost in drink at the Kraken's Den, one of the many taverns in Port Rat. And that is how he spent most of his nights now, just sitting at the bar, staring into his mug. "Marcus, I'm gonna teach you how to live," came a man's voice. Marcus looked up to see a blond man with short hair and blue eyes, wearing a black robe with the symbol of a sunrise embroidered in the shoulder, his elbows and back resting against the bar, with a smile beaming at Marcus. Marcus simply turned back to his drink. "Come now, don't be a stick in the mud. There's more to life than booze and killing, Marcus, old chum," the man continued. "Do I know you?" Marcus grunted. "Oh, where are my manners? Alexander Simpleton, devout follower of Lathander, and when I'm not doing that, a bit of a life coach." Alexander beamed, extending his hand to Marcus. Marcus scoffed, returning to his drink. "A piece of you is missing, Marcus. That no amount of killing is ever going to bring your parents back," Alexander said flatly. This got Marcus's attention. Only a few people knew about his parents, and none of them were alive anymore. "Oh, now I have your attention," Alexander jested. "Lathander heals all. He has guided me to you. There's good in your heart, and I can fill that missing piece. All I need to do is... Well, hello there." Alexander trailed off. Marcus followed Alexander's gaze to one of the barmaids. "I thought men of the cloth were above such things," Marcus scoffed. "Oh, dear Marcus, as a man of Lathander, it is my solemn duty to spread good across the land, and I have it on good authority that she has been very good. Ciao," Alexander said with a wink, setting his drink down as he walked towards the barman. "Bloody fucking weirdo," Marcus spat, downing his drink, and then proceeded to leave the tavern. As he exited, Marcus took a deep breath of the marine air. "How did he know about my family?" Marcus thought, shaking it from his head. "Help! Someone!" cried a voice. Marcus turned to see a boy no more than 8 winters run out of an alleyway towards him. "Help my dad! He's been attacked!" "Where?" Marcus said with urgency. "This way," the boy said between sobs, leading Marcus into the same alleyway the boy had come from. In the alleyway, Marcus saw a man lying on his back in the mud. As Marcus approached the man, he could see multiple stab wounds in the man's gut. His breathing labored as he coughed out blood. "Please help him," the boy begged. Marcus had seen and given these wounds throughout the last few winters. He knew there was no coming back from it. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for your father," Marcus managed to get out. The boy continued to beg, tears streaming down his face. In that instant, Marcus was taken back to those many winters ago when he lost his parents. His heart started to pain him. He felt the tears of his own beginning to form as he placed his hand over his heart. Wake up, Dad! He heard the boy beg again. He felt powerless. He felt as if he was reliving the loss all over again. Now, cheer up. Everything's going to be all right, came a familiar voice. Marcus looked up to see Alexander walking past him, the same beaming smile, right up to the boy and his father. What's your name? Alexander asked the boy calmly. Patrick, the boy said between sobs. Well, Patrick, you've been very brave. I need your help for your dad. Now close your eyes and think very happy thoughts about you and your dad. Can you do that for me? The boy nodded. Once the boy's eyes were closed, Marcus watched as Alexander kneeled down towards the man who was now on the fringe of life and death, and now glowing his hands. His death. Hands now glowing a luminous gold. And then it happened. The man's wounds began to close. The shallow breathing turned to normal. The man's eyes opened, and he began to sit up, only to be tackled to the ground by his son. And with that same smile, Alexander began to walk back towards Marcus. How? That man was destined for the afterlife. How is he rejuvenated like nothing happened? Marcus said in amazement. Such is the grace and power of Lathander, Alexander replied, looking back to the boy and his father. You gave that boy his second chance with his father. I would give anything for that. I'd give anything to give others a second chance, so they won't have to feel the same pain I endured. Marcus exclaimed with a hint of sadness in his voice. Anything, you say? Marcus replied, with it raising his eyebrow. Anything, Marcus shot back. Do you swear to give yourself to Lathander's light and warmth? Never to raise your hand against your fellow man? Without hesitation, Marcus discarded all of his weaponry. Good, Alexander said with a smile. But pick those up. That's how people get stabbed. For the next 3 winters, Marcus and Alexander traveled together, going from village to village along the southwest of Oceania, healing and helping their fellow men. Then, oh, dang, something did not save. Pause. I gotta look. Sorry about that. Quick pause. Oh, damn. It looks like it didn't save.
It's okay, Atlas.
Oh, wait, hold on. I have another one opened up. You shut your whore mouth, Will. I am trying to beautify your story. Alright. Well, I guess I will. Just have to... And doing it live, I'll do my best to remember it. For the next 3 winters, Marcus and Alexander traveled together, going village to village along the southwest Ocean Alley, healing and helping their fellow men. Throughout those winters, Alexander slowly worked with Marcus, spending one winter alone, just barely getting the men to smile. Then having a normal conversation. Finally, laughter and engaging. Then one morning, Marcus woke to a letter. Wait. Damn it. I lost my page again. Sorry. He woke to see Alexander gone, but a letter by his bedside. Dearest Marcus, our time together has come to an end for now. Continue with the teachings that I've bestowed upon you, and for Lathander's sake, spread a little good. That farm girl in Baywood was begging for you. Anyways, ciao, Alexander Simpleton. Another winter had passed since Alexander and Marcus parted ways. He continued traveling in the southwest of Oceania, rendering aid to those in need. Then, one day, while traveling in the woods of South Arbor, it hit him. The putrid smell of death was in the air, and an overwhelming presence of evil. Marcus made his way through the forest, following the smell. As he cleared the forest into an opening, he saw it. The monastery burned to ground, and bodies in pieces scattered everywhere. Lathander be with me, Marcus prayed, venturing into the grounds. As he entered the main temple, he could feel an echo of what had transpired. For a brief moment, he saw a half-orc woman and a vile demon holding a man, locked in combat. Then the echo vanished. Marcus spent the next few days tending to the grounds, collecting remains so that they may be properly laid to rest. Just as he finished clearing... I'm sorry, I'm losing my place. Just as he finished clearing the last of the temple, he heard a voice shout out. Looking to his left, he saw the same half-orc woman from his vision. "Do not be alarmed. I am a friend," Marcus said with a smile, lowering his hood. Deanne reached out to her divine sense to make sure the man in front of, to take a measure of the man in front of her. She was nearly overwhelmed with the radiant light that he emitted. "You still haven't told me who you are," Deanne said, cautiously lowering her sword. "Oh, dear, where are my manners? I'm Marcus Goldriver," he said with a bow. Marcus, I appreciate what you have done for my friend here. Deanne, I will go gather some suitable wood for a pyre," Montezuma said with a slight bow before turning to leave. "Oh, I'll assist you. In whatever is customary for you both," Marcus said, joining Montezuma. Deanne continued to look on to her fallen comrades. After a few hours, the three of them had gathered enough wood for a suitable pyre. All three of them looked on as the flames shot high above the trees. Montezuma handed Deanne his hunting knife. Showing her the scar across the palm of his hand, she knew what she had to do. Approaching the pyre, she extended her hand towards the fire, placing the blade into the palm of her hand. In a swift motion, she sliced her hand, allowing the blood to flow onto the fire. As the blood hit the flames, an intense gust of wind circled the fire, the flames turning blue, and at the center, a visage. "Thine offering has been accepted," the visage stated in a radiant tone. Deanna looked on, wide-eyed in disbelief. "Hearken unto me these words. The goddess Saira shall bestow her blessing upon thee. Dost thou swear unto her to be her vessel of vengeance?" "Until my last breath," Deanne exclaimed. Upon hearing the words, the visage appeared to bow, then was gone, the flames calming and returning to normal. Deanne returned to Montezuma. "Is that what happened when you did it?" Montezuma just stood there, eyes wide, mouth agape, shaking his head. "Well, that was different," Marcus said. "Anyway, what's next for you both?" "I go to Heidel," Montezuma and Deanne said in unison. "Oh, lovely! It's lovely there this time of year. I shall join you. It has been a long time since I've had companions, and something tells me you're gonna need assistance." Montezuma and Deanne nodded in agreement. "Come with me," Deanne bade them. Deanne led them to the armory, which was still locked. "Good. No one's raided it." Deanne opened the doors to the armory. "Arm yourselves," she told them. "We're gonna need it." That is the end of Chapter 3. Alright. Chapter 4. The Girl on the Run. 4th Astral Moon, 26. Age of Man, 10:15. Happy 12th life day for me. Mom got me this awesome leather-bound journal. I don't even know what I should write about. I can't wait to fill you with everything I do. 4th Astral Moon, 28. Age of Man, 10:15. Dad says we're in Draconic, a small fishing village. Mom's going to be performing tonight. She has such a pretty voice. I hope I can sing just like her one day. 5th Astral Moon, 4. Age of Man, 10:15. A lord was passing through Draconic. He heard Mommy performing, and he asked her to come play in Illuminore. We're finally going to see the capital. No more gypsy life, family life for us. 6th Umbral Moon, 23. Age of Man, 10:19. Ugh, I haven't written in this thing since I was a child, but I can't help myself. I'm so excited. Thaddeus, son of the noble house Amacure, wants to take me to the year's end festival. Me, simple tavern girl. Ah, I don't know what to wear. Mom will know. She's always so stylish. 6th Umbral Moon, 27. Age of Man, 10:19. It's actually kind of fun writing in this again. I feel like a kid again. Where to start? Mom is one of the most sought-after musicians in all Illuminori, and Dad works at the Arcanist Guild. Who would have thought he has a little gift for magic? Mom brought me the most beautiful blue festival dress. I hope Thaddeus likes it. Oh, my maker. What if he tries to kiss me? Ow! I could be a lady of Amacure. 1st Astral Moon, 2. Age of Man, 10:20. What in the nine hells is going on? Thaddeus kissed me, and he turned to ice. What is wrong with me? Am I some sort of monster? I don't know what to do. I told Dad, and he got a very serious look on his face. He left quickly after where I told him Thaddeus was. First astral moon, 19. Age of man, 1020. We had to flee Illuminori. I'm some sort of monster that killed a noble house's son. I ruined my life. I ruined my family's. My skin's beginning to itch too. And I'm flaking. I swear I'm turning into a lizard. First umbral moon, 5. Age of man, 1020. Mom and Dad are different now. They don't seem happy anymore. Did I ruin their marriage? We're always on the move now, never staying in one place long. We're heading south towards Lemdana. First umbral moon, 17. Age of man, 1020. Mom and Dad sat me down and told me I have dragon blood. Well, I guess I wasn't far off with the lizard scales. Dad says he's going to teach me some magic to keep me safe. I don't know why I would need it, but he only knows minor hand magic. First umbral moon, 18. Age of man, 1020. So I guess Dad knows a little bit more than simple hand magic. He blew up a giant boulder with an enormous fireball. And apparently Mom has a little knack for magic as well, so I guess I'm a part of a magic family? Now, every time I ask about the dragon blood and why we're on the move, they change the subject and don't answer me. Fourth astral moon, 25. Age of man, 1020. Well, tomorrow is the day of my birth. 17 winters I've been around. We are stopping in a town called Melsa Nanore, and I'm tired of traveling, and they still won't tell me why. I'm going to make sure I have some fun at my celebration of life tomorrow, with or without them. Fourth astral moon, 29. Age of man, 1020. I screwed up again. All I wanted to do was have fun for my life. I didn't mean for this to happen, and now Mom's gone. These people attacked me all in black. They said they wanted my blood. And what in the nine hells? Before they could take me, Mom and Dad saved me, but there was too many of them. Before I knew it, Dad had a hold of me, and then in a blink of an eye, we were in a swamp. I begged him to go back for Mom, but he wouldn't. Fifth umbral moon, 13. Age of man, 1024. Once again, it's been a long time since I've written in this. God knows why I still have the damn thing. It's been 4 winters since I've lost my mother. 4 winters since I've been on the run. Turns out Gareth was never my father, at least not in the blood sense. He was charged with keeping me safe by my real father. Apparently I have some very special ancient dragon blood in the family from my real father's side of the family, which is neat because I seem to have an affinity for all the elements, but some sort of cult wants my blood for some sort of ritual, something about an old god, or at least that's what Gareth tells me. When I ask him where my real dad is, he always says, I don't know. But he does. The man's lied to me for most of my life. He's at least been useful with honing my magic. I still can't quite wield devastating fireballs, but I'm getting there. We had to fled to North Oceania, outside of a village called Gunzulfik. At least the dragon blood keeps me warm. I'm so tired of the snow. Zatanna looked up from her journal, taking in the snowscape land around her. Why couldn't I just have a simple life? She muttered, thinking back to her childhood in Illuminori. Hey, short stuff. A familiar voice came. Zatanna turned to see Gareth walking up with supplies from town. Do you have to keep calling me that? She said unamusingly. I'm not a child anymore. Well, I suppose not, but you'll always be a little one to me, Gareth said with a smile. Well, he wasn't her blood father. Gareth always treated her as if he was his own. She hated him for leaving her mother all those years ago, and maybe still did a little, but it never stopped him from treating her like his daughter. When can we actually go back to a more civilized place, Gareth? What's wrong with this place, aside from the blistering cold and occasional yeti? Gareth retorted. Why can't we just go back to Illuminori, or one of the other elven cities? We haven't seen any of these cultists in 2 years, Zatanna explained. Maybe for your life day. Ugh, you say that every winter, Zatanna replied, defeated. I'll be back, with a frustrated tone in her voice. Where are you going? Gareth asked. To poop! It's about the most fun one can have in this forsaken place, Zatanna shot back. Zatanna made her way off to the sparsely wooded area outside her camp. For once, I would just like to shite like a normal animal. Zatanna could hear the sound of snow crunching behind her. For God's sakes, Gareth, I told you I have to. Zatanna's words fell short as she turned to see a black hooded figure, his face covered in a red half mask, an amulet bearing the visage of a five-headed dragon. The figure spoke in a tongue Zatanna had never heard before, but she knew clear as day. Finally, after all this time, we have found you, child of Gygax. It's time you come with me. I don't know who you are, but my father told me to never go anywhere with strangers, Zatanna nervously stated. As she turned to walk away, she saw more hooded figures around her, at least half a dozen, identical to the first except wearing black masks. Zatanna, get down! Instinctively, she dropped to the floor. As she did, she heard a crackling pierce through the air above her as an arc of lightning shot past her, slamming into the closest black-masked figure and then chaining to those around him, leaving only two unscathed. As she looked behind her, she could see Gareth and the red-masked figure locked in an intense battle of the arcane. Fire, ice, and lightning filled the air around them. Zatanna looked on in awe, the raw destructive force that both Gareth and the masked man wielded. Get to the wardstone! Gareth shouted, snapping Zatanna out of her daze. She took off in a sprint, with the remaining two black masks in pursuit. Bolts of fire whizzed past her as she ran. All right, just like Gareth taught you, Zatanna muttered herself, as she stopped and pivoted toward her pursuers. Bringing her hands together, thumbs touching and fingers spread wide, she called forth an incantation in her mind and let loose a barrage of flame towards the enemies. Right as the flames were about to strike too, they fizzled out. Zatanna's eyes shot wide as she could see one of the figures chanting and weaving signs together, a purple aura tracing where his fingers were. Then suddenly, a gale-force wind slammed into her, knocking her to her feet. As she looked up, she could see both figures approaching her. The one still weaving the magic she assumed was nullifying her spells. Just a little closer, Zatanna mused. The masked figure stopped some 10 feet from her. You will come with us, child of Gygax. No, I don't think I will. Cancel this, she shouted as she called upon her heritage. An audible click was heard, almost that of a flint being struck. Flames roared from her mouth, engulfing the two figures. They screamed as they collapsed to the floor, still smoldering. Zatanna got to her feet and continued to run to hers and Gareth's predetermined escape route. Some distance away, and out of breath, she made it to the wardstone. It sat in the middle of a snowy field, standing 2 men tall, with runes cut into it. There was only silence now, save for the sound of her labored breathing. Snow was beginning to fall. Where are you, Gareth? She panted. Some moments later, Gareth came into sight, limping. Zatanna rushed him. Gareth, are you all right? 'Tis but a scratch, he said as he winced, his robes covered in burns and tears. We need to get the wardstone activated. I've stalled them, but it won't be for long. Gareth approached the stone, extending his hand out. The runes started to hum to life and glow in a pale blue. Almost finished, he muttered. I grow tired of these games, a voice came. Zatanna and Gareth looked behind to see the red-masked figure. The wardstone started to glow hot white and then crumbled to dust. No! Zatanna, get behind me! Gareth shouted. The figure started to approach them slowly. Zatanna, there's little time. Listen to me carefully. Find Creel in Hydel. She can be trusted. The red-masked figure began muttering an incantation. Gareth hastily weaves a portal into existence behind him. What are you doing, Gareth? Zatanna begged, grabbing onto him. With a blast of magic, Zatanna went flying through the portal. Dad! She yelled. It was as if time slowed down, every detail vivid. She could see a ball of flame coming from the masked figure as his incantation finished. She could see a tear running down Gareth's cheek. His mouth was moving, but she could not hear the words coming from it as he turned to face the masked figure as the portal closed around her. Then she was falling. Ah! She screamed, smacking into surprisingly soft ground. Rubbing her head, and she opened her eyes to look up to see two large figures squatting over her, one green with tusks, one with the face of an elephant. Monsters! She screamed, and weaved a spell together. She means you, Montezuma and Deanne and said in unison, pointing at each other. A bolt of fire smacked into Montezuma's, singeing his mask. Told ya! Deanne bellowed before getting a mouthful of snow. It was Montezuma who was bellowing now, pointing at Deanne. You must be so embarrassed. Zatanna looked on to see these two behemoths joke and shove each other as if not even paying her any mind after hitting them both with magic. The pair stopped and turned their attention to her. Hey, do you mind getting off our friend? Deanne pointing to the ground underneath her. Zatanna looked down to see a pair of legs extending out that were not hers. She followed the body up and realized she was sitting on a man's head. She quickly jumped up, embarrassed to see a man with brown hair, eyes rolled into the back of his head, knocked out cold. Both Montezuma and Deanne erupted with laughter. Where in Sahir's name did you come from, lass? Deanne asked between the laughter. Fell clean out of the sky, arguably giving Marcus the most action he's seen in a while. Zatanna took a moment processing everything that had just happened, fell to her knees, and began to cry. That is end of chapter 4. Yeah, go for it. So, has everyone been enjoying their little story arcs?
No, I want a complete rewrite. We're gonna start
All
all
right.
over.
All right, so then we're gonna cancel the session, and then we'll start anew in about 4 months.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yep. All that's left is Abraham. I wrote like a sentence for him. You know, he didn't really give me much to work with, so. All right. Yeah, I can recap. What do you need me to recap? All right. All right. So pretty much since the age of 12 to the age of I think 21 or 22, she just kind of goes over her life, kind of drawing a little bit. She was part of a traveling family. Her quote unquote father, obviously a magic user of some sort. Her mom, one and two together, was more than likely a bard. Uh, Abby is she's a dragon blood sorceress, but she's a little bit more special than the normal ones, having a ancient dragon bloodline in her system, with the very key phrase of having control of all the elements. Uh, Colt wants her blood to summon an old god or something of that nature. And after 4 years of running, she was finally found. Battle ensued. Her I guess adoptive father, in a last stand, threw her to through a portal, like just a makeshift portal to keep her safe. And then she ran into you guys and threw a fireball at you, or a firebolt at you. But you're so tough it didn't hurt you. Yep. And then she also fell out of the sky, knocking Will out cold, but sitting on his face at the same time. So, Will, yeah, Will, tragic backstory, murder in his heart, wanting to avenge his family, but it never filled that peace in his heart. He met a strapping young gentleman who showed him the light. Yep. Well, not because He still seems to not want to sow his oats with people that put it towards him. But who knows? That'll change. Character development. Ooh. All right. Is everyone all ready? Is Abraham around for his high octane anime backstory? All right. The Raven's Eye. Do you have to go? You said you were done with this life. I know, Lilypad, but blah blah blah, fate of the world. I know, but you have a child on the way. Lily, it won't matter if there's no world for him to come into. But why does it have to be you? Why did you of all people have to be the Ravens champion? Oh, come on. That's part of the reason you fell in love with me. Lillian glared at her husband. Semantics, she spat. Come on, lad. Gareth and Natal are waiting for us, came a gruff voice. Ulfgar, you brought him back into this life? He better come home in one piece, Lillian exclaimed, daggers in her eyes. On my word, Lillian. I'll bring Gil back in one piece, Ulfgar said, bowing his head. I've got to go, dear. Gil kissed Lillian on the forehead before kneeling down to her belly. Take care of your mother, Archer. He continued kissing Lillian's pregnant belly. You said you would bring him back. Where is he? Lillian screamed. I'm sorry, Lillian. Gil did something we couldn't have foreseen. His sacrifice saved Oceania, Ulfgar said with sorrow in his voice. I don't give a fuck about that. I just want Gil back, Lillian said between sobs. Gil left this to me. He said he wanted Archer to have it. Ulfgar pulled out a sword, its blade black, with the pommel in the shape of a raven's talon holding a golden eye. Lillian walked towards Ulfgar hastily, taking the blade and throwing it out of the college yard. Get out! She screamed. I'm sorry, Lily, Ulfgar said in a low voice, turning before leaving, a tear running down his face. Archer, dinner time, Lillian called out. Out of a nearby tree sprang a small child no more than 11 winters, his hair white as snow, and in his hand, a branch. Ah! The boy called out as he descended towards Lillian, who merely stepped to the side of him as he came crashing down. How many times do I have to tell you? Lillian scolded, striking Archer on top of his head. Never alert your opponent to your attack, Archer responded, nursing the growing bump on his head. What am I going to do with you? Lillian sighed. Take me to town for ice cream? Archer beamed. Lillian sighed in defeat. Yeah, let's go get ice cream. Yay! Archer cheered as he started to run towards town. He's just like you, Gil, Lillian said to herself as she watched Archer doing all sorts of flips and acrobatics along the road to town. Lillian looked down at her hand to see blood. Mom, I'm home, Archer said as he entered the family college. Archer, come here, Lillian wheezed. Archer ran to his mother's bedside. My dear boy, 16 winters and you've grown so much, Lillian said as she rubbed his cheek with her frail hand. Every day you look more and more like your father. I picked up medicine. Dr. Shano said this is a stronger dosage, Archer said excitedly. Archer, I don't have much time left, Lillian coughed. But the medicine, you're going to get... Lillian pressed her finger to Archer's lip. Shh, it's okay, my boy. I need you to listen very carefully. Lillian started before having a coughing fit. Archer handed her some water. Thank you, dear. Out at the tree you used to play at as a kid. Buried next to it is something your father wanted you to have. I never wanted to pass it on to you, but there's no denying you're just like him. The life he lived is in your blood. I don't understand. I thought Dad was a fisherman, Archer said, confused. Far from it. Your father was one of the greatest swordsmen of his time, Lillian explained, with a twinkle in her eye as if she was remembering a distant memory. I love you, Arch, Lillian said, her voice faded out. Mother? No, don't leave me, Archer screamed. Some days later, after Lillian's funeral, Archer found himself at the tree from his childhood. I guess I start digging, Archer said to himself. For 2 days, Archer dug around that tree. Bloody hell! I love you, Ma, but could you've been a little more specific? Archer grunted as he dug. Finally, Ka-tink! He had struck something. Archer cleared the dirt around where he struck. He pulled out a sword. Its blade rusted, with the pommel of an empty raven's talon. As he inspected the blade, the world around him turned dark. He could hear whispers echoing around him. Archer spun around in a panic, trying to find the source of the whispers, his eyes eventually falling onto a lone raven. I wast wondering when thee would findeth me, son of Gilgamesh. An eldritch voice echoed in Archer's mind. Who are you? The words barely leaving Archer's mouth. What is thine greatest desire? The voice said, ignoring the question. I want my mother back, and my father, Arthur shouted. Thine request is out of my power, for their souls hath been bargained already. The voice echoed in Archer's mind. Archer paused for a minute to think. Then, I want to be the greatest swordsman, like my father. The voice chuckled. And what wouldst thee offer me in returneth? What is it that you desire most? Archer shot back. Thou dost amuseth me, the voice continued. I will grant thine desire in return. Thou wilt gather for me the finest blades in the land. Wait, so you just want swords? Archer replied, confused. Before he realized it, he was back at the tree. The voice's laugh fading from his mind. That laugh wasn't ominous or anything, Archer said aloud before looking down, noticing that the once rusted worn blade was now fine unblemished steel. And razor sharp, too, as he noticed blood dripping from his finger where he inspected the blade. He noticed that the one empty talon of the pommel now contained a golden eye. Archer spent the next 9 winters honing his craft. He traveled city to city, usually volunteering for the local watch to refine his skills as a swordsman. Since he moved so much, he didn't bother to make friends, and his sole purpose was becoming the best swordsman, and the best swordsman he could be, causing him to be distant from others. In those winters, he had not offered a single blade to his patron. For the riff-raff he dealt with in the watch could barely be called swordsmen, much less have a worthy blade. And any blade worth it he could find was well out of the range of the pocketbook of a watchman. Until one day, that all changed. A man took notice to Archer's talents and offered him a job with wealth beyond his wildest dreams. Ladies and gentle sirs, as fate has it, you'll be staying the night, as I present to you the final act, from the mystical mountains outside Tenneth. A lone swordsman, with skill of unrivaled proportions, performing feats, nay, impossible to the common man. For your viewing pleasure, only at Circus Arcanum, I present to you the one, the only, Ragi Baba! The ringmaster finished with the crowd erupting in cheers. My name's Archer, he sighed defeatedly as he was lowered down from a platform on top of the canopy. Archer went through his routine like he did every night, cutting through tatami mats with ease, letting an audience member shoot an arrow at him as he cut it out of the air, even marksmanship on top of a dire wolf. Archer thought back to the day he met the ringmaster. Just sign on the line and you'll be paid 500 gold. If only he read the rest of the words in the contract, now burned into his head. Upon completion of 1 year's service, payment will be rendered and distributed in Heidel. Almost there, Archer said to himself as he loosed another arrow, splitting his first one into the dead center of a bullseye. Now for the grand finale. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to our lovely performer, Marin. Ragi Baba will perform the most deadly feat in performance history. Marin will be secured to the board, and the magnificent Ragi Baba will hit all of his targets around her. Blindfolded. The crowd cheered. Oh, and I almost forgot. Such a feat would be trivial for the legendary Ragi Baba. So our lovely Marin will be rotating. A large gasp echoed from the crowd. On cue, the target board began to rotate clockwise. Archer drew on all of his skill. At least this is good practice, he muttered to himself. He let loose a barrage of daggers towards Marin, all hitting their marks, missing her. The crowd erupted in cheers. Archer removed his blindfold and was joined by Marin. Holding hands, they both took a deep bow. Archer looked onto the crowd to see them all hooting and hollering as they always were, except for one, a man wearing a long black coat, his skin pale, his hair raven black. In a blink of an eye, he was gone. Archer just stared at the space for a moment before he was ushered off stage. "You did great, Archer," Marin said cheerfully. "Another flawless performance from the great Ruggy Baba," she continued with a giggle. Archer only grunted. "Hey, I was wondering, when we get to Heidel, would you like to go to the market festivals with me?" Marin said, bashfully looking down, touching her two index fingers together. Archer turned and looked at Marin. She was cute for a half-elf girl by circus standards, her hair auburn, her skin sun-kissed from a life in the circus. "Why would I want to do that?" Archer said blankly. Marin looked up, her face flushed with obvious embarrassment. "Only joking. You know me. Marin the jokester. Uh, See you at practice tomorrow," she stammered before and taking off running. Archer continued his blank stare at her as she left. "Just how fucking daft are you, boy?" came a stern voice. Archer turned his attention behind him to see Bromley the Strong walking towards him. "Everyone knows the girl likes you. Only Sayura knows why she would. You're always too busy playing with your little blades to have any normal interaction with a living being, and that's saying something coming from a band of circus freaks." Archer continued his blank stare there and took note of all the trope in the backstage area. Without a word, he turned and walked away. "Oi! I'm talking to you, you little shite!" Bromley said as he reached out and firmly grabbed Archer by the shoulder. In an instant, Archer grabbed a pressure point in Bromley's hand, breaking his grip with a twist before sweeping his legs out from under him. Bromley was now looking up from the ground at Archer, the same blank stare in his face. "The only reason you're not dead is because you're not worthy enough for my blade." Archer's tone flat, still firmly holding pressure on Bromley's hand. Archer applied a little bit more pressure, causing Bromley to wince before releasing him. With that, Archer turned and started to walk towards one of the housing wagons. Archer began to settle in for the night on his sleeping mat behind the wagon. He preferred the night air to the stench of the circus folk in the wagon. As he stared at the stars, he heard the faint sound of someone singing in Elvish. But something was familiar about it. Archer sat up, getting a sense of where the song was coming from. After pinpointing it, he crept silently. The song grew louder as he made his way to a clearing near the camp. Archer saw Marin in a white sleep gown. Then the words hit him. His mind raced back to a memory of when he was a boy. In his mother's arms after he hurt himself by falling out of a tree. Her voice soothing as she sang. Archer snapped back to the presence after hearing a branch crack. He looked down to realize that it was he who made the sound. Panicked, he looked up to see Marin looking around. Who's there?" she called. Archer said nothing as he slinked back into the shadows towards his bedroll. After the adrenaline faded from almost being discovered, he closed his eyes and drifted to sleep. Archer awoke to screams. Gathering his senses, he looked around to see the circus ablaze and bandits running rampant. Finally, he thought. Archer called forth the gift bestowed upon him from the Raven, materializing his blade into existence, and he leapt into action. He found his first targets, a pair of bandits that were killing the horses. "Savages," he spat, before slicing into the pair, severing both their heads. Archer scanned for his next target. He could see Bromley holding a bandit by the head with both of his enormous hands. He watched it as the bandit's head crushed into pieces as if it was a melon. Bromley turned for his next victim just to get swarmed by other bandits. Though formidable, the giant of a man was overwhelmed and felled by a trio. But he did manage to take one with him. Archer was already in motion. In a dead sprint, he flung one of his daggers, striking one of the bandits in the back. As the bandit slumped to the ground, Archer, using him as a springboard, leapt off him, bringing his sword down onto the other, cleaving him in two. "Archer!" came a scream. Archer looked up to see Marin and a couple of the other circus girls being carried off by more of the bandits. Her arm extended towards Archer, tears in her eyes. He started to move towards them, but was halted. The man in black he saw from the finale moved himself between Archer and Marin. His arms at his side, with no weapon in his hand. Archer could feel it. This man was a fighter. This is what he'd been waiting for. The sounds of the commotion faded. It was just him and the man in black. Archer took up his fighting stance, preparing himself for the duel. The man remained unchanged as he continued to stare down Archer with a blank look. Well, if you're not going to defend yourself, I'll take the first move, Archer said to himself. Just as Archer began to push off for his attack, the man was gone. Archer could feel warmth coming from his abdomen. He looked down to see a black blade sticking out of his stomach. Just as swiftly as he appeared, the blade was removed. Archer coughed out blood and began to slump to the ground. He looked up and saw the man in black was next to him. You were not worthy enough for my blade, the man said coldly before turning and walking away. The world descended to darkness around him. The last thing Archer could hear was the faded sound of his name being screamed. My sweet boy, looks like you got yourself hurt again, Lillian said. Mom? Archer groaned. Who else would it be? Lillian's voice came. Archer's eyes opened to see his mother standing before him. How are you going to be the greatest swordsman if you get bested by one blow? Have you learned nothing? What's happening? Archer said, confused. You're dying, silly, Lillian said with a smile. Deanne, this one's still breathing. He's lost a lot of blood. I need your help, a voice echoed. I'm on it, Marcus. Another voice echoed in his mind. Oh, looks like not today, sweetie. Please be safe, would you? I worry. Lillian's voice began to fade as well as her. Wait, Mom, don't go. Mom! Archer yelled as the world around him faded back into view. Well, that's not the first time a man's called out to his mom after I put my hands on him, Deanne jested. Archer looked up to see an orc woman and a human man kneeling over him, both their hands glowing a luminous gold. And that concludes. And that's it. That's the session. Good job, everybody. Everyone levels, and you all get +4 weapons. Yeah. All right. No. That was it. It is now just going to be weekly Austin story time, talking about how awesome you guys are. But yes, I hope you all relatively enjoyed your interpretations of your characters that I did based off the parameters you gave me. And if you all take notice, you've now appeared on a map. And with that, though, I am going to take a break because I got to pee because I've been drinking beer this whole time to wet my whistle. You might not have vision on your token. I had a lot of issues with the token, so I'll have to fix it. Hey, I'm finishing peeing, and then you will enjoy the epic saga of Pacifist Marcus Goldfinger. Well, I just said that's what I was going to go do. Yes, I am glad you brought that up, Mr. Batten.
Oh, yeah. Did I pick a heritage trait?
I did not give you one yet, but I will work that. It won't play too much into it right now. So, in my effort, I So, Will already knows because I told him about his, and Abe roughly knows. So, in the spirit of things and me wanting to weave a epic campaign, everyone has a little something special about them, and I gave you all heritage traits based off of your character's background and everything like that. For instance, how I said Abby's an ancient bloodline with the affinity for dragons. So once a day, she can, or once every long rest, she can choose one of the metallic dragon aspects and select that. So maybe one day she wants to be a bronze dragon, maybe one day she wants to be a silver dragon, and her dragon resistance and abilities change according to what aspect she is. Like just a little bit of like flavor stuff. Uh, well, the key, the key, the key there. read the last one. That's the important one, and that goes off of in your story how your god said an elephant never forgets. You're like able to recall everything. Now, mind you, these heritage traits are going to grow as you guys level. Do you want? Do you know what, Chris? You don't get anything. If you're just gonna be an asshole, you get nothing. uh, you missed it. Well, she has a dragon bloodline. If and again, I still need to rework it. It was just stuff that I thought up of. Like for instance, Will gets to add his proficiency bonus to healing, but if he ever does anything hostile, like attacks or anything like that that's bad, he loses the ability to completely heal, but he gets like a little damage bonus. So like just like little flavor stuff like that. The ability to remember shit like with full detail, trust me, is going to play in very well. And it gave you the ability to speak with everyone else. So get fucked. We'll go with that. And again, I still need to alter because I don't have a balance reference. Like
Because Deanne doesn't even have one.
I took hers away because my original idea was to give you guys feats, but then some of the feats were just too powerful, and then people weren't getting to even share the stick. But I guess being able to remember everything isn't good enough for the fucking barbarian. No, man, I just got back, man. Get fucked. Uh huh. Let's see. Dynamic lighting. Yeah. Okay. So, God damn it. I was. Oh, Abby never rolled her HP for us. Okay, so yeah, you can either take whatever. Okay, so what's okay, so six. Okay, 23. Okay. Go ahead and just edit your token. Can you see now, you two? All right, there you go. You guys are standing over Archer, and go ahead, scene. They were being carried by bandits.
Where did we see them take them?
You didn't see anything. It's just it was nighttime when this all happened. It is now early morning hours. You guys saw smoke rising over the trees and you investigated. actually, actually, yes, yes, they did go north.
Which way is north? I don't know.
fuck, fuck you guys. uh, why is there two wills now?
I only see one.
I have like three on my screen. What the hell?
I only see one.
Will, move your token for me. Okay. So we're gonna delete that one. I'm gonna delete that one. All right. Continue. Uh-huh. I just remember no kills happening. Yep, go ahead and roll survival for me. All right, as you look in the ground around you, it looks like there was like a big commotion. Where exactly are you searching? Where you're at presently, it's just a lot of footsteps from circus travel and the battle that ensued. Oh, okay.
We're gonna search north.
All right. With his innate ability to locate the direction of north, Montezuma feels that that is the appropriate direction that these people went. As he searches through the mud, he sees that a numerous amount of footsteps are carried off towards where those dead horses and bandits are.
Whoa, whoa, fancy man. You're gonna want our help.
Oh, does before we get too far, does everyone have like their armor and their weapons?
Yes.
You are actually. Okay. Fuck, I forgot. It was like a magi. Hold on. What? No. Excuse me. God, I forgot what it's called. I know Trevor has it in your campaign. Uh, no, no, it's not a damage bonus. It's just a straight. It's like a +1 to like your her attack spells. So just Abby add a +1 to all your attacks until we can officially get the item in your inventory.
You're welcome, all, by the way.
Oh, oh yes, and uh, everyone who hasn't rolled it yet, you can roll your class starting gold and add 100 to it again because of Brittany's hard work, and everyone has one healing potion.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, but you got a bonus 100 starting gold because my wife decided to pull like an all nighter playing a video game.
It was so tough. So tough. For Oh, you're welcome. It was rough.
To be fair, she got through a lot of stuff.
Yeah. He told me, he's like, oh, it takes me forever, like 200 hours. I was like, not
hmm
a problem.
All right, so Montezuma is 150 gold for Montezuma. I think Paladins are 5d4 for
I
you.
already rolled mine.
Where?
I don't know. It's in my thing, so obviously I rolled it before.
All right, good enough for me. So just add 100 to it if you haven't.
Yeah, I'm only starting with 205. It's not like I.
Yeah, and then Abby, Sorceress. I don't know what they roll because I don't know. Is that in the compendium? Yep, 3d4 times 10 plus 100. Stand by. Stand by. Oh yeah, and then backgrounds add something. 170 total gold for Abby. Cool. Uh, yeah, and whatever your guys' background is, does everyone have their background done? Did you already roll your flaw, Will? Abraham, I know, rolled his. Okay, it's a d6, but I gotta pull it up. Your one as a faction agent goes off the alkalite, so stand by. 1 second. All right, go ahead and roll a d6, Abby.
Okay.
All right, a 1. You judge others harshly and yourself even more severely.
That'll work. That'll work.
Wow, you guys are a very judgmental group.
Right? Tragic backstories and
Hey,
all.
hey, well, no one who owns a successful vineyard goes on a fucking adventure, so Unless you guys want to play Vineyard Simulator, I can work that up for you, and you can deal with the struggles and tax evasion and all that. You have rats in your vineyard. I think I know Chris rolled his, and then yeah, I think that's everyone. Abby was the last one for at least that. What's up? Oh, stand by. I'll pull it up for you. I I I, I got you, boo. 5d4 times 10. That's actually like on the high end. 5d4 is the highest, so
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So plus 100, 240 gold for you. Yeah. So at least canon wise, the oh yes, your background gives you extra gold as well for whatever thing you picked. If you're Alculite, it's 10 extra gold. So I know Brittany's is already added. Will add another 10 to yours. All right. And again, canonly, why like most of you have like powerful weapons and that extra 100 gold was when Deanne went into the armory at the monastery. She cleared out some gold and some shiny weapons.
Yeah. I was gonna say nothing like robbing the place that I grew up.
Well, it's not robbing when you're the sole proprietor.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Sure. That's what I'm gonna tell myself.
Yeah, you're on a quest for vengeance. Freaking semantics don't matter, even though it's stained with the blood of your allies. Uh, Abby, Z- Zatanna, Marcus, and I mean Abraham's kind of in the middle. Yeah, dude, you got freaking owned.
Deanne's gonna say, "Whoa, whoa there, pretty man. You're gonna want to wait for us, especially after what that situation we found you in. Let's go."
You're like 6'5". Brittany's like 6'2". You're you guys are pretty giant. Zatanna's like 5 foot. No,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no.
that was a
So
while ago.
yeah, like the way the story was flowing, this takes place like like over like a month or so time. Yeah, like he didn't fall out of like in the circus like that happened a while ago, and then the story transitioned into Archer. They're very dead horses. It, Abraham personally saw them become dead. Uh,
that was Montezuma. Do we find survivors?
you find well where are you looking around?
Well, Montezuma just did.
It's a fairly big circus.
I'm gonna check this tent.
Okay. Yeah. All right, you head over to the very rainbow colored tent.
I got here first. Whoa! Raced in there. Charging in with my sword ready. Do I find anything?
Um, you enter the tent. You see like a small desk, nothing too elaborate. All the drawers open, papers are scattered everywhere. A small chest in the back is open and very much looted.
That's nothing.
Um, in Archer's experience, he knows that the man has outsmarted him multiple times. So you assume he's smart. Maybe he's hiding something. He's kind of a shady. He's a circus ringleader. He's a shady motherfucker. Give me a investigation. Um, you just see papers scattered about. You're in a hurry. You don't really give a shit what's going on. You're just kind of looking for stuff.
Montezuma. Montezuma, read those papers.
Illiteracy is not a thing in fifth edition, so you can read. Give me an investigation check, Montezuma. uh, you don't really understand what any of the documents mean, but you find a key one that has the signature bearing the name Archer on it. It looks like a contract of some sort. They appear to be contracts. Like around there, there's contracts, bookkeepings, things of that nature. But that's the thing that stands out most in your mind is something that says Archer. Actually, I don't know. Has Archer said what his name was to anyone?
Nope.
Oh, then
Well, you didn't investigate very well.
yeah, you didn't. You just didn't find your paper. You didn't find paperwork. But Montezuma found it, and like something sticks out in his head, like that's a fucking weird name, and he decides to keep it, or if he does decide to keep it.
He didn't. He didn't say his name.
You do a very awkward, weird smile because you're not really familiar with the gesture. So you kind of look like you're trying to take a shit right now, but they're very dead. They have no heads. Everything you find a bandit body that's head's literally crushed into pieces, brain matter everywhere. One's cut in half, others neck snap. Nothing seems salvageable.
Zatanna and I are gonna check out this.
Okay, go ahead and investigate for me.
I will investigate. I have to find my investigate button.
Alphabetical order on your skills tab.
Nope.
All right. In that tent, it's one of like the side attractions, like weird fish in there. Nothing, nothing that piques interest or anything like that, or at least no one that requires saving, unless you want to save a fish, I guess. But then you'd have to take it with you.
Anything worth money?
uh, from what you know, living in the monastery, not really.
Alright. Zatanna. I see nothing. It's time for vengeance.
Vengeance for Fujin.
Archer learned some things in that back tent. Just keep going.
They're just cages and like display cages that had like animals and stuff in it. You see a dead dire wolf. All the animals in the area just appear to be dead. Stem. Yeah. Savages. Give me a survivor roll, Zatanna.
Is it Zatanna or is it Zatanna? What is it?
Yeah, Zatanna. You like, can I eat this? And you point at like the direwolf sphincter. Montezuma comes. Montezuma just kind of lowers your pointed hand down. No, 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 child. What'd you sling over your back? Oh, okay. All right. Montezuma.
DM just shakes her head.
All right.
Oh no.
You have. There you go. Strong arms right there. You have a dog on you. All right. Uh, Archers, you go into the tent. You see it mostly burned out. Uh, Nothing striking you. You see Marin's target board again, just mostly sundered in singes. Give me a investigation. You find nothing of
I
you find
feel
nothing of
I
value.
should help him investigate this tent. So I will help you. I'm ready to go get vengeance and you're taking a long time, so I'm gonna help you with your investigation.
Again, you just all you see is burned stands, the circus ring canopy coming down on top. It's still slightly smoldering, smoke rising up from it.
I'm gonna put my hand on Archer's shoulder and just say, "It looks like a burned tent. We should go."
Uh, Zatanna, you find 5 silver pieces. Like it just looks like it was just like fell down.
We will help you, Archer. We are on a path of vengeance.
Oh Christ.
Alright. We're gonna head north. Let's head north.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, that's the wrong way. All right. So, stand by. I'm going to need information from everyone.
Information.
Yeah, information. All right. Starting with Chris, what is your passive perception? It should be on the character sheet. Okay. 13. Brittany.
Passive perception. Wait, where did we? Oh, I have. Oh, 11.
11. William. That seems to be the same answer everyone's given me so far.
It's below the skills. It's
Abraham, then Abby. Abs? You're level 3. Alright. So, let's see. Hopefully this works. This is about all I have planned, or at least prepared for you guys. So we will see. Let me know when you're all on the map. Yeah, that's because I didn't save your token. Is it? What's that? Yes, that's fine. But are you at your token?
I'm at my token.
Okay, cool. All right, I need to make adjustments. I need to save your tokens. God, man, roll 20 is like an ass pain sometimes. Vision on. All right. Do you all have vision now?
No vision for you.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna reset your token so I don't have this problem in the future, at least until you level. Marcus, Abby doesn't have its Zatanna. I thought I saved it. Okay. What about now? You can see you. Fantastic. Let's remove your old token and add your new one. Save changes. Alright. From this moment on, how you guys move and stuff, unless you tell me otherwise, I assume you're walking through an area like a fucking schmuck.
All right.
Yeah.
I like to fly.
Give me another survival. You lost the trail. It brought you to this area, and you're not really too sure. Deanne, you know nothing.
It looks like we are in a field with trees.
Yeah, go for it. Uh, all you hear in the area is, just standard sounds of the woods, birds, insects, nothing that piques your interest as of now.
Come, come, Montezuma. You have much to learn.
All right, Marcus of all people, remembering times when he was Batman, uh, pick picks up a trail and it's moving this direction.
We're following the cleric. They
And, and then how are you all proceeding? Hmm. You have it materialized. Okay. What about everyone else?
I'll walk next uh to Marcus, and Montezuma can walk on the other side of him. We're just bantering with him to learn how he knows how to track.
All right. So so at some for where you guys were, Marcus found a trail going this way.
Oh, well, we should go that then. Zatanna.
Yep. The path is continuing through here. All right, and freeze.
Froze.
Go back the last space you guys were. You,
Like one space back?
yeah, you were about right here, and Marcus was about there. All right. Oh, I need it.
But I said I would be right by him.
Okay, you're right there.
Well, I mean,
There
I'm
you
not
go.
gonna feel that way if somebody attacks him.
All right. I need to get the what's it called, that initiative script that Chris has. I'll give it to you later. Uh, all right. All right. All right. Will, what is your AC?
Oh no! Oh no! Actually, that's pretty good.
Okay. And Deanne, what is your AC?
16?
All right. As you guys start to walk through the forest, uh, Marcus, being fucking Bear Giles out here, frickin' hears the wind wisping, and frickin' as a crossbow bolt comes flying towards him, he brings up his shield, deflecting it. Deanne, you merely sidestep as another crossbow bolt whizzes past you. As you look, you see two assholes in the woods.
Hey, asshole!
All right, how is initiative done?
You roll it with the dice.
Yeah. Where's the fucking initiative button? Or is it just add turn? Uh, oh, is it just the clock? There we go. Okay, so the bandits don't roll apparently. What the fuck?
I have horrible initiative.
Do, all right. Yeah.
You should be able to edit your own.
Yeah. So let's see. Oops. They do, but I just pulled from the compendium, so it didn't have like an initiative button. Yeah. GM. It's that. Whatever. So,
Do you want me to roll some dice for you?
yeah. One. Whatever. You guys will just be able to see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Plus. All right. Four. All right. Yeah. You guys are all superstars. Yeah. All right. And then does the arrow on the turn order sort everyone in the appropriate order? Ascending. Ascending. Oh no, I want descending. There we
Yeah.
go. It's there. Oh, you. Oh, yeah. Will doesn't see it. Hasn't done it. I'm gonna pee again. So figure it out. It should be on the top of your like towards the top right of your character sheet. I mean, you you were Batman. I mean, he can hurt them. He just can't help you guys afterwards. Well, I'm taking a wicked piss right now, so. Hey, you shut your mouth, Brittany. I will take your +1 away. All right, go ahead, cast a spell. Uh, I mean, they've been traveling together. Yeah, you can use your movement. Yeah. All right. Zatanna.
Get it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Give me your roll. All right. Smacks into him. Uh, yeah. You hit him with the. You hit him already. All right. Do, 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 do. All right. And okay. Montezuma.
Oops.
Oh,
Sorry. Yep,
sorry, he's not in the
done.
right spot. There we go. I thought you had a spear. Okay. Okay. Give me your damage. Well, the bless doesn't add damage; it adds to your attack roll itself. But click on where it says glaive and click on where it says Bullmaster to roll your damage. Yeah, both hit. Bleh. You you run up, shove your the butt of your glaive into his chest, and then you come down, slicing down onto him, just felling him. Is that it for your turn? Deanne.
All right. I will cast Hunter's Mark on the bandit.
Okay.
Woohoo!
So you'll have a +6 if you hit him,
All right. So
or +6 damage.
get up close
All right.
and.
Give me a acrobatics. He's on a raised platform from where you are, like with the rocks.
All right. Let's do this.
You lose your footing trying to get up. You're stuck at where you're at.
That's fine. Will my great sword reach him?
No.
Then there's not much I can do. So
How much did you move? You were like right here. So you can move 10 more feet. You can like go. You can like get to here, but you still won't be able to quite hit him just because you're on a lower platform.
yeah, either way, I have to go up a platform.
Yeah.
So acrobatics versus like athletics.
Yeah. Give me your athletics then. Sorry. It could be either or. There you go.
Because I feel
You've.
like I would bully my way up this thing.
All right. That's fair. You're. Oh, whoops. You go. Bah. You jump up on the platform there. You can go ahead and swing on him. All right. Hit.
14 plus 6 plus, what did I get? 1d4?
Uh, as you jump up in a low swinging motion, you just kind of cleave diagonally up into him. And
Aha! This is wonderful. More.
all right. Don't forget to take that hunter's mark off your spell list.
It's not. It's a bonus action.
It's still a spell.
What?
It's a
I
spell.
just read it. That's why.
Yeah, the action itself is a bonus action, but it's a spell. All right.
Well, it says, Austin,
Hmm.
this spell lasts for up to an hour, so I can keep using it while we're doing this.
But there has to be another creature for the mark to move to.
Well, there will be.
That doesn't work that way? No, whatever.
All right, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, you guys are done.
Do they have anything of use on them? Do I
Uh,
find anything indicating what else we're gonna run into? Do they anything that I
uh,
can find useful?
Go ahead. Like from basic inspection, you just see crude hide armor and rusty scimitars. You can give a investigation if you want to see if there's anything more. You nothing. Give me a Constitution roll,
Okay.
Montezuma. You feel your stomach rumbling. Nothing's happened though. But give me an insight. Nope. You think that was the smartest thing you could ever did in your life? Mm, no, and you're like, in hindsight, from all my time of hunting and cooking meats, that probably wasn't a good idea. Anyways, continue.
All right, Marcus. Where does the trail lead next?
Yes. After taking the bolt, you kind of lost sense of what was going on in the commotion. Give me another survival check. Survival. You're tracking. Sure. Uh, you lost the trail in the motion. Deanne running up and moving into things kind of fluffed up the trail.
Hey! I saved your life. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you guys don't have a clue where the trail leads. It just all looks like deer shit and leaves.
Well, which way's north?
That that's fantastic, but give me a perception. No, you thought you saw a grasshopper, but it was just a blade of grass. If only you could find a bird. The world whispers back to you.
Archer, where do you want to go? This is your these are your people. Where do you want to go?
No, I mean like there's no fucking birds. You hear bugs, no birds. Uh, Technically no, But sure, let's go for it. You find the grasshopper that Montezuma thought he saw.
It was there all along. Go grab it up. Alright, and I want you to look.
What the fuck did you just call me?
I wonder if that really saw him.
All of a sudden, you hear all the sound of grasshopper legs clicking as a swarm descends upon the land, consuming everything. Reroll your characters. All right, you find a grasshopper. It's just kind of there chewing on a leaf.
Hello, is it Montezuma?
Yeah, sure, you can talk to a grasshopper. I don't give it hell.
Grasshopper. I am Montezuma of Totem. We are looking for a treasure. Help me, Montezuma. Whatever a grasshopper you are.
It's kind of looking at you. You get the feeling that it's like kind of amazed that it can understand what a big thing is saying to it. Well, I'd like lots of grass.
You would rather hard bargain, huh? Talk to us, Montezuma. What was it you needed?
Well, I like grass a lot.
We are looking for. Okay, forget I said grasshopper. What else? More of these ones.
More grass?
More grass. Said more grass.
You just see it go. Nah, it's just eating.
Okay. You are clever, grasshopper. Says me. The grasshopper outsmarted me. We must continue along our way. Which way? Aren't you I said I went to grass. Aren't you listening to Deanne? Joking. Seriously, like this?
The whole time.
Archer nods. See?
Surprisingly,
Uh, uh,
he recalls
as
whatever
Montezuma
you were
as Montezuma starts to move away from the grasshopper, it says, "North is that way."
Archer nada. So let's finish this up.
Let's do this. Let's go here.
Okay, you find kind of just a old decimated shack. It's kind of in shambles, like it's been abandoned for a while.
Deanne, Archer, I don't know how you want to do this. Knowing my class, I have my heritage weapon now. Do I have to desummon it in order for me to pull some my ability?
Yes.
Okay. Then desummoning I think is a free action, but summoning takes an action. And
Yeah.
knowing that our last combat, I'm just going to desummon my heritage weapon and pull out my heavy crossbow.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, you guys can
A
see it in my hand.
a purple aether-looking transparent crossbow appears in your hand.
Sweet.
Deanne just watches that happen and goes, ooh.
Witchcraft.
Very nice.
Very nice.
There you go. Archer, like, yeah, lets him hold on to it. Just, yeah. Actually, it's 5 feet away, so I can give it to you. So yeah, I can easily hand it over to you. It's a weapon, right? Yeah, yeah, it's like beautiful.
Montezuma moved 5 feet past you, and it dissipates into air.
Oh. That's very nice. Archer nods. I summon another one. Archer looks over at Deanne and actually says, "This actually might be a problem when we get into combat."
I was gonna say Deanne comes over and just puts a hand up. Stop! 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 Stop!
right, go ahead and stop right there. Give me a perception.
Let's roll perception. Can I roll it too?
Yeah, just Montezuma and Deanne. All right, Montezuma, you hear the trees around here moving, and you hear kind of a thud, and then, and that's it. Uh, like a thud, like someone jumped out of a tree. No. Okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I will try to keep up. I am not keeping up, but I'm behind you.
I don't think that kicks in yet for you. Yep.
Okay, I can keep up.
Give me one more perception.
What do you see, Montezuma?
Um,
Was it
you
another
see,
grasshopper?
you see some bushes moving over in this area.
Oh no. To me! To me! I'm following you. Our healer might not be, but
All right, give me one more perception.
I rolled 18.
You didn't see any of it transpired, so you don't even know what to look for.
I'm
All
just
right.
chasing after Montezuma. Okay.
Yeah. When you get there, you take a look around, and the forest, or I guess wooded area, is just still the same sounds that you heard of random insects and wildlife is just there. You lost whatever you were looking for.
Montezuma, what were you chasing? What were you chasing? I didn't know. I, 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 Archer. I, I, I don't even know.
Okay. No.
Are we doing perception or are we doing survival for the trail?
Survival for the trail.
Aha! Do I pick up the trail?
In the area you're at, you only see various animal tracks.
Do I get to maintain that role while looking around?
In the general vicinity that you're in, yeah. But nothing that looks human or humanoid.
You don't look humanoid.
Archer looks around. He can see. Is that like a hill kind of ish? Like a hilltop
Ping it for me.
up there?
Yes, that is raised ground up there.
Okay. He looks around and says, pointing away. I think the high ground would choose.
Yes! To the high ground!
To the high ground.
Call the locksmith.
Call the locksmith.
What weapon does he use?
His hands.
um,
Is it magical?
Montezuma, give me a Constitution roll.
Uh-oh.
What's the blade?
It's like a angry spear, like a spear with like a longer blade. All right, you feel your tummy grumble, but you're like, normal Saturday afternoon.
You should give some to Zatanna. Zatanna.
Um, yeah, I note everything. Did I tell him earlier?
No, he appears fine for all intents and purposes. Give me a survival. Everyone pause for a second. You are really hungry. Go ahead and give me a constitution roll.
Yeah, right. Cook it.
She could have if she decided to. Oh, oh yes. Important question. What aspect are you currently? Gold? Okay. So as you all look at Zatanna, she kind of has like gold flecks all over her body, kind of shiny, scaly, glittery. Oh, you definitely just did there. You saw him eat it, and you kind of went, "Oh, this seems awesome." He was fine by it. Hmm. Roll me a d20, just a raw 20. No, you feel your tummy starting to grumble.
Good thing we have a healer.
Yeah, food poisoning is definitely poison. All right. Do you want to? I'll allow it. William can roll a medicine roll to see if he wit. Actually, William, roll me a perception. You did not see what transpired, so you have no idea that Zatanna just ingested raw dead dog meat. All right, you may all continue moving. However, she hasn't asked for help. She doesn't know that she's in a bad way. Your stomach doesn't hurt yet. That's definitely to come. All right, give me an athletics. There's definitely an athletics. Yep, you climb the 5 foot wall like it's nothing. Good job. All right.
Well then, Deanne, watching him do that, is gonna climb this wall just to prove just how strong she is too.
Go ahead and roll for me.
Thank you.
You start to climb up, and your foot slips, and you just fall down.
I'm
It's a
gonna
it's
reach
a
down and tie my armor when I fall,
where you're
as if I meant to
where
do that.
where you're at is like a 3 foot lip. Like you're pretty much waist high over it. And you're like, oh, I could do this, Montezuma, and then you kind
Can
of
I
just
roll performance? Because I'm gonna attempt to.
go ahead.
Uh,
Uh, Montezuma, give me a perception. Yeah, you by all means, it looks like Deanne was doing some very fancy armor fastening. You are impressed.
it's fancy armor, just like Archer's weapon.
All right.
Are we still going this way?
Yep. General Kenobi appears in front of you. All right, Archer, as you start to crest the hill, everyone pause.
Paused.
You see a lone wolf cotton trap.
Dinner.
Yeah, I'm gonna pissed off
Ooh.
Montezuma because I can see his eyes like more like hunger than
Then, then like talk to him.
there is no honor.
There is no honor in that. Right. The wolf is growling very defensively at all of you. Give me or go ahead and talk to it first. I want to hear what you say. The wolf is just growling at you. All men, savages. It kind of gruffs at you. All men, savages. You know, it's an animal. It's not going to have a full intellectual conversation with you.
What
And
did you say, Montezuma?
it's still growling at you. Its ears back, the hair on its back raised up. It as Deanne moves there, it turns towards you and snaps. What's your AC?
16?
16. Uh, it bite it bites onto your hand as you get close to it. You take 7 damage and give me a strength roll.
7 damage?
Hmm.
Dang.
You got a
You're a healer.
you got a little too close to it. It's cornered and very unhappy.
Rougher. And a strength check.
Yep. Okay. It doesn't latch onto you, but it definitely bit hard down into your hand, and
Can I punch it?
it's continuing to. If you want to punch the dog, you may.
I haven't decided yet.
But it looks like it's cowering back as much as it can. Again, the hair on its back is still like raised. It's growling at you with your fresh blood in its mouth.
It's kind of trapped. Is it just like a standard bear trap with like a tree? Or
Yeah, it's anchored to the tree and it's on there. Um, Montezuma, give me with what you're doing, give me an animal handling check. No, it is a
Can other people try?
um.
Probably won't know anything about it, but
No, in this instance, I'm going to with what's going on right now, I'm going to say no. I
okay.
mean, you kind of snuck up on it and it bit at you, like you just kind of came around the corner in its area. Um,
okay, tell him I am going to break the chain. I'm not going to be attacking him. I am going to break the chain.
Liar! It growls at you, and it's like
I'm gonna aim very far away from obviously the wolf that or the base of the chain that he should be climbing on.
uh, go ahead and give me a roll. Okay. Yeah, you hit the chain. It definitely looks like the a link is cracked, but still not free. The blast itself kind of scares the wolf, and it's kind of like barking and lashing out at you. Everyone, give me a perception check. And who's left? Deanne.
I rolled fine. I got 14.
14. Marcus. Did we lose Marcus? We might have lost Will. I was too slow for him. All right. Zatanna, you start to hear howling coming from the west of you, like multiple howls.
Who's calling from back up?
He does that from time to time. He's had a rough move.
Okay, one of us needs to control.
You can heal too. Good old Paladin.
Can I heal a wolf?
You can heal whatever you want.
Fine.
But can you see why you like Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No. I'm going to heal, but it's a touch. I don't want to touch it.
Alright. Give me another animal handling roll.
Couldn't I have healed it when it bit me?
No.
Alright, here we go.
Unfortunately, no. The wolf is still biting at you, and I will say it is quite unfortunate that Marcus is gone. He would have a way to circumvent that.
Well, let us take control. Take one of us, Marcus.
I'll give him a handful of minutes before. Is there anything else you guys want to try?
I do want to ask you if it's like paladin communication stuff. Like only in the you want to heal him. I mean that's like big risk, but
Do you have any heat left? What do you need?
Oh my god. Don't say that to Montezuma.
I did know. I did. As a last resort. You are making poor decisions.
Still don't know if we wanted him dead. We would have already done it.
All right. What are you guys gonna do?
Take control of Will's character.
There he
There you
is.
are. Hey. Heal the wolf already. Please.
Would you like 1 HP or something if I keep going like block?
There you go. Will hasn't done it yet. Will, give me an animal handling. No, the wolf is still angry and snapping at you. You'd have to touch it to do it, and that may be ill-advised.
Do you want me to grapple it? Actually, send Montezuma in to grapple it. Yeah, Montezuma, get in there and grapple that
Alright.
wolf.
Everyone give me a perception check.
Wait, Montezuma's gonna grapple the wolf?
Everyone give me a perception check.
What the you just...
Uh, Zatanna again. She's starting to hear
Zatanna.
Zatanna, I'm sorry. Zatanna is starting to hear like like paw prints and a lot of them coming. Roughly in this area.
I'm gonna turn around that way a little bit and I'll be like, over there, I think I hear exposure. They're coming. Okay.
Everyone has one action available until what Zatanna perceives is about to happen.
Um,
Archer will think, Montezuma thinks, one more last time, tell the wolf that I'm going to take a change, and Archer will use his free turn to strike again at the same spot, directly before addressing the change.
and then I will have my cure
Give
wounds ready.
me.
If
Roll damage versus what?
You have to click on Eldritch Blast itself. Like, there you go. That is the promise.
Deanne's gonna have her cure wounds ready, so if she
Uh-huh.
gets attacked by the wolf, she's gonna cure his wounds.
Are you gonna say that, Montezuma? Whatever Archer said.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm telling that, but it's like, if I hitting the chain versus aiming it, what are you? Yeah.
all right.
So let me know what do you want?
Get Give me one more animal handling, Montezuma. You see his ears kind of perk up, but he's still kind of in a defensive posture.
Did I not break the chain yet? Well, yeah.
What? No, 6 is not a whole lot of damage.
It's also a chain. It's already
Wh-
cracking.
Wait, why do you have +6 on Eldritch Blast?
I don't know. I guess it based my speed or calculate my defensive bonus.
Yeah, that doesn't go in unless you took like a specific Eldritch ability.
Yeah, that happened. So 6 then.
Yeah, so you,
Number 6 then.
yeah, so 6. All right. Uh, with that, he says that the wolf's ears perk up and the chain gets blasted. The chain's blasted, but the wolf is still in the trap. Um, it's still panicked. It's a wild beast not really having interaction with anyone. Like the chain that's rooted to the tree is free, but it still has the trap on its uh, hind leg, and it's kind of like slinking back with everyone being surrounding it, and like it's just scared and panicked. Does anyone have any last action?
Um, I think I'll do the same thing
You,
one last time, because if I can do
yeah,
it, I can heal it, and then that's it.
yeah.
That's all I got.
I need a little bit more from you than animal handling. What exactly are you going to do?
Are you trying? Will, you go first. What do you want to do?
How are you going to calm it down like that? Like that's what I mean. Like I need.
Like,
All right. All right. Roll animal handling with disadvantage with everything that's transpired. All right. No.
I will try the same thing and be like, look, you bit me. I didn't do anything to you. I don't want to hurt you. My weapon's put away. I'm getting down to its level.
Nothing. It snaps at you again.
All right, that's it.
And then all right. Everyone hold positions.
Stupid wolf.
Huh?
Stupid wolf.
Yeah, you can be. Well, you didn't roll a perception check to know if anything was coming yet. You know that an action's happening, but you don't know what exactly is happening. The only one who is not in the surprise round is Abs right now. So, uh, boom, boom. This one's coming here, and this one's up here. So, Deanne, what is your AC?
16.
Okay, the first one misses. You just kind of roll away from it, and the second one misses. And then let's go ahead and get that initiative. How do I clear the old initiative? Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and hit that initiative. Or actually, hold on. Disregard. Uh, Pause 1 second. I gotta go back to Brittany
Why?
because these things have something that I didn't realize until I pulled up the character sheet.
I feel like that's not fair because you wouldn't let us do that.
Yep,
Right?
they are wolves with laser guns. So, all right. So one wolf actually does latch onto you for 7 more damage,
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
and then DC of 11, please, for strength. All right. So you roll out of the way of one wolf, and one comes like spearing into your back, biting onto your shoulder, but you manage to keep your feet. And then I need to roll their initiative. Ow. They're not very initiative wolves. Oh, I didn't add them. Where the? I'm still confused on how to add them to the initiative too. Oh, that's right. Add turn. Add turn. Add turn. Add turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bottom right. No, and I need to roll one more. 12, so that one is 12. 3, 3. Dang it, didn't save them. 3, 3, 3. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this roll 20 life. Yeah, that would be groovy. All right, and descending. Archer, start us off. Which one are you attacking? Ping it for me. Okay. Uh, where it's at, you can't see it from your angle. It's like up against the cliff face. It's like a 5 foot cliff. You can, but it has about a quarter cover from the trees. This one would probably be your only real clear line of sight. Mm-hmm. He's definitely a melee class. All right. Okay. Your Aether Bolt just strikes right into the wolf, making contact and then dissipating. Would you like to do anything else? Okay. Deanne?
Sorry. Okay. I will strike at the one in front of me.
Which one's in front of you? There's two in front of you. Okay. All right. The one. Go ahead.
Was gonna use my. No, that should be fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. The wolf that jumped on your back and bit into your shoulder, you kind of spin, pushing it off, and then you bring your great sword down, just cleaving right through the middle of it.
Then I will. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do.
Okay. Marcus.
I mean, you can always heal me. I am down 17.
No, you have Prayer of Healing. Remember, you had your proficiency bonus to all your heals plus whatever. Yeah, that's right. Deanne is definitely not worth a level 2 spell. Okay. You feel tingly. Alrighty. Alright. Uh, the wolf that is still in the trap. I mean, it's injured. It's going to. Hang on Yeah, I put it in the wrong one. That one was definitely supposed to be for this one. I added it late, but because I rolled all the single initiative for the new pack, the 12 is meant for the not dead one. It's meant for this guy. Um, let's see. Abraham, odd or even? You said odd. All right. Uh, DM, what's your AC?
16.
Okay. All right, you take 5 piercing damage and give me a strength roll, please.
Montezuma, this is ridiculous. How much damage did I take?
5.
Jesus Christ. Bullshit.
Oh, no,
Bullshit.
from the west. All right. It latches onto your right leg. It's just kind of hanging onto it, but you maintain your feet.
What the fuck, guys? Come on. I'm gonna die.
All
Fucking
right.
wolves. Not
That's
one.
that's it for its turn. Uh, Zatanna.
Zatanna.
Zatanna, Zatanna, Zantana.
This is yours. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can. Okay. No, the plus one's only to the attack roll from that item, I believe. I believe. No, she's talking about like the item she doesn't have, like her plus one. I believe it's only to the attack rolls. That's what it's going to be for now until we can officially confirm it. If you want to, Abraham, you can pull up Trevor's character sheet in yours, and you should be able to see at least what the item's called, and we could get clarification for you. All right, so you throw a little fireball or firebolt at the wolf. All right. All right, Zuma. No. Yeah, unless you have multiple attacks or a cone attack or how do you have multiple attacks at level 3, level 1 or 3? Oh, that they would have to be bonus action. You would have to be actually I don't know cuz what the glaive gives you 10 feet. Uh as of now I'll allow it. Okay. Yeah, you can go through there. Okay. Uh go ahead and give me your 2 rolls. Uh-huh. That's a tree there. You can yeah, the dog is gonna have half cover for the big tree that's in between you two. Mm, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll allow it. Uh, Oh, you don't get bonus actions when you're raged. That's really unfortunate because you said you raged in the beginning and made a very big point to say that you were raged. You, I mean, that's what you told me. You made a point of telling me that you were raged. Yeah. Gotcha. No, you were preemptively raged when the surprise round happened. You went. You hit nothing. Wow, double ones. Which means okay. Okay. Your polearm master hit. All right. No, the ones are like criticals. They're instant misses for attacks. What's that? Okay. Well, the one that was with the trap on it is no more. It is ceased to be. Burp. All right. Is that it for your turn? All right. So which one is this? Okay, so that's the dead one. So it's going to be. Nope, that's the dead one. This one. Okay. So the one that they can do that themselves. They have that option.
Well, some other DMs would do that for us.
Well, some other DMs like you guys more. All right, so the wolf that was blasted by Abby is going to continue towards her. What is your AC, Abs? And you guys all have a lot of AC. All right.
No, 16 is not a lot.
All right. Give me a. You take 6 damage and give me a strength roll. All right. This wolf just comes running at you at full force and like jumps up, bites into your shoulder, and takes you to the ground. You're knocked prone with the wolf on top of you. And then, but I'm just gonna keep him there for that sake. That's his turn. The next one. Seeing its chum die, is not happy about it, so it's going to go after Montezuma. Yeah, and then what's your AC? All right, it bites into you for 6 damage, but I think you take half while you're raged as a bear totem, or I guess elephant totem. So 3 damage, and give me a strength roll. All right, the wolf just kind of lunges at you, bites into your abdomen, but you maintain your footing. All right, and that's it for its turn. The next one is going to continue biting at Deanne. Uh, and you take 7 more damage. And one more strength roll, please.
Alright, I'm ready to play somebody else's.
Yeah. Yeah, Montezuma has failed you on numerous occasions in this encounter. This encounter was designed for him.
Strength.
All right. Same thing. It bites into your leg, trying to make you lose your footing, but you're still standing strong, and that is it for its turn. Archer.
I'll shout it. Or I'll talk to Deanne. Deanne, do you need help?
Oh shit. Of course
Yeah.
I do.
You
Montezuma's doing nothing.
uh, Archer, as this fight has unfolded, you've watched her get hit by 3 different wolves, like bitten into, and watched her wince in pain. You you're able to communicate that or formulate that yourself that she is probably in need of assistance.
Alright, then I'm just gonna take a step and just jump
All right,
in front of her.
all right. It has half cover with the tree between you two.
Okay, I wasn't behind. I think I was to the right.
Hmm. Yeah, he's still gonna have the that cover now that Montezuma's in the way.
I'll just run around her
Okay.
and then I'll shoot her from behind.
All right, you have disadvantage from being at point blank with a crossbow.
Don't miss.
You
You shoot
you.
me.
Oh, that's D. Okay, that's DN. That's DN's strength roll. All you, if you went right here, just the DM tip of the day, you would be fine. Oh, actually, you would. No, no, okay. Never mind. I'm sorry. Oh yeah. No, you're good now. You can blast to your heart's content. Uh, it goes wide, swinging right past Deanne's head. She looks at you. She looks at you very pissed off. At this point, she's about to get Barbarian Rage as a paladin.
Actually, if I
With
get to
every
0 health, I do have an ability with being an orc that I don't actually die,
that's definitely what's going for you right now.
called Relentless Endurance. So I'm about to be relentless.
Hmm. All right, are you done, Archer? Deanne.
I will roll my
You
1d4.
you it's an automatic miss with the one, unfortunately.
Well, you know what? That's that. Do I hit Archer?
Um, if if you actually had a reach weapon, I would allow it, but unfortunately not. You Archer, you see Deanne swing. You think she's trying to hit the wolf, but you see that her eyes are locked on you and swings towards you, but it just seems to be out of reach. Uh, is there anything else you would like to do, Deanne?
No.
Marcus. Uh, just as a fun warning, Deanne is at 8 of 34 HP.
Yep.
Okay. I don't think we did. I think it became too confusing. So you have like 2 plus the spell level, so you have +4. You have a +6 extra on whatever it is. And of course, it's not rolling it. So roll a 1d4 plus your wisdom and add 6 to it. Yeah,
Yep.
1d4 plus 10. All right, 12 hit points back. You hear. You son of a bitch, Will. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I was gonna say Marcus says you're doing a good job, Deanne, but all you hear is Marcus yell out pineapple, and you feel you feel better.
That's a good pineapple.
Anything else for you, Marcus? No, the wolf is not grappled to her. It just kind of threw its body weight into her, biting down onto her, and it's there. It's not in a grapple or anything like that. So if your question was if you can move away, it's gonna bite you. No, you would have to force it out of its space, which you don't have an action to do that. Okay. Uh, Zat- Zatanna, right? Zatanna? Am I saying that right? I want to get it right, so I'm not fucking it up all the time. Zatanna, get after it. You are currently knocked prone.
What? I didn't know she was prone.
Yeah, she was prone. She failed her strength save.
Yeah. You said
it bounded into her. It was on her turn that I said that. But if you want, this will be your rewind. Uh, all right. Uh, for this, I'll allow it. You helping her gets rid of the movement cost for her to get up, like because it costs half your movement to get up from a prone. So she'll be able to get up, and if she wants to, she can move and go from there.
One time what I was going to do was fire bolt immediately attacking him.
Okay. All right. You say something, whatever you want, and you point your little finger gun at it and put a little firebolt between the puppy's eyes. And yes, PETA has been notified.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna have you for dinner.
Abby, roll a Constitution save.
Well, I'm not eating right now.
Roll a Constitution save, Abby, for reminding me. You are good. Like you feel like you were just about to shit your brains out, but you're like, nope, nope, now's not the time. And you stave off angry poops.
Yeah. Quickly. I'll
You step over the remains of your enemies. Monster. Okie dokie. Uh, Monty. Mm-hmm. Okay. Miss. Okay. You have advantage on reckless attacks. Okay. So, which one is your first attack hitting? Second level, you can throw aside concerns of defense. Okay. On melee, strength attacks, or strength. Okay. 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 Uh, you slice in, and then you kind of spin your glaive around and bonk the other dog, and it falls down. Alright. Okay, the last dog is, or wolf, is going to continue its biting spree on you. Da-da. Rawr. Oh yeah, and it has advantage because you're that. And what's your AC? No, the strike that you gave it did enough towards it's moving a little staggeredly and it misses its attacks on you. Uh, Give me an intimidate since you can speak to pups. No, it is still locked in combat with you. Archie.
Yeah. Take a shot at the wolf. I don't think I have anything.
No. Crossbow or eldritch?
Crossbow.
Okay. All right. Your your bolt smacks into the side of its head before disappearing. You just kind of hear as the neck pops from the impact. Congratulations, you are helping with the wolf overpopulation in this particular forest. Hmm.
How much will do? Do you have anything for curing wounds besides what you did, or is that it? Well, everybody else is kind of okay, right?
Yeah, no, Abby is the only one that Just you and Abby, and Will or Chris has a light little tickle.
Well, we also have one healing potion, so we could just drink those and move on. Well, I don't want to make camp if it's gonna impact who survives, all the people we're trying to save. But I would like to make camp so I can heal.
All right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Talk it out. Figure it out. I'm gonna use the restroom again. As far as timelines in the day, it's roughly. Well, Montezuma would know actually, with his handy dandy talent that he made fun of. Yep, you have about 8 hours until sun starts to set. So it's roughly about 10 o'clock in the morning. You're gonna use a short rest.
Yep.
All right. And those who want to heal, you can choose to expend a hit dice equal to up to 3.
He's gonna heal us for 21.
God damn. And that's adding your proficiency bonus to it as well, Will?
So that will completely heal me.
Alright, I think everyone's back at max with Marcus's golden fingers. What's the athletics for there, Monty? Am I coming across? Am I muted?
Yeah.
What's the athletics for? Ah, you failed that climbing that tree. No. The only class that brings back spells for, I think, is Wizard. Has the ability to do short rest spellbacks, but
Wizards and bards and druids.
yeah,
Those are the ones.
yeah.
And just use up, does everybody just do your regular,
Oh wait, no.
your spell?
It says warlocks also fill up their spell slots during a short rest.
Yeah.
He hadn't cast any spells, so he's fine.
But maybe, Will, you should save your spell and everybody just expend those HPs. You have 3 of what your thing is.
I don't think it's a spell, right? For Will, isn't it just like an ability, or is it a spell?
I don't know. I thought he casted it.
Oh, right. So yeah, that's a spell. Or if you guys want to forego that, you have up to 3 hit dice you can roll, which means whatever you roll for your HP, you don't recover them on a short rest. You can expend them on a short rest, and they come back after a long rest.
That's right. Great.
So what that means is you can roll your hit die equal to the amount of times of your level. So you can either spread them out over like 5 short rests, or you can choose to roll, for in Deanne's example, 3d10 right out the gate. But that's all you could do. And like if you took other short rests, you couldn't spend hit die. So I'll give Marcus an alibi on his prayer of healing if the injured parties would like to roll a d10 or roll their hit dice to get
I'll
their
just
health
roll
back.
my hit dice. That way he can save his spell.
Okay, so 12. Are you rolling all 3 or just
No,
2?
just those 2.
All right, so you get 12 back, and you were down to
20.
20.
Or
You
no,
can.
wait.
Oh no, okay. It just gave me the math.
Oh no, so -3 from that. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You also get your Constitution back. Yeah.
Oh, then I need to add
Yeah.
Constitution to the first one.
To both of them.
Okay, well, my constitution
I think
is
2 for you. Yeah, on your character sheet,
3.
DN, you'll if you take a look just for future reference, you'll
Yeah, I
see.
know, I saw that. Thank you.
Yep, and then just make sure you mark off like how many you've rolled, just for your reference.
I'll reference you.
Nice. I mean, her shirt is fitting.
I have full health.
All right, cool. DN's topped off. Everyone is topped off. I thought I heard Will saying that this is a good stopping point for him. Is that the general concisus? Concisus.
Well, if Will's gotta go, it's up to you guys.
Okie dokie. Sorry it took 80 minutes to read you guys things. Lore. Hmm.
Okay, so back tomorrow, right? I'm off on Monday. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yep. Well. Yeah. Well, I will leave it to all of you to decide if you guys want to finish the map up with one down. Uh, Chris can give permissions to someone to control Monty and his nature abilities.
No, yeah, it's Will.
No, I'm talking about tomorrow. If people were legitimately interested in that.
Oh, I thought you was Monday.
Yeah. Just say you have an important business meeting and take up a conference room. Mm-hmm. Ooh, with very, very big honor. Well, just don't lie this time. Aww.
Well, Will, if you are you cool with one of us playing characters for tonight? If everybody else is fine to stay a little bit. Or, well,
The the max I will go is about 45 more minutes. At midnight I
cover.
at midnight I'll come.
Yeah. Your guys' call. It's fine.
I'm up for the 45 more minutes or for tomorrow. So
Or
just
or we can just put it on the burner and then you guys don't have. I mean, depending on how you move through the map, you guys theoretically maybe only have about 45 minutes left. But if you guys want to hold off, that's fine. I'll work on building up your guys' next account because I don't have anything else after this. I fully planned on your guys' stories taking up the entire time, so I kind of just threw this together last night when I'm talking to Abe.
all right. Why don't we just do Friday? Why don't we just push it to Fridays? I mean, this is a new campaign, and then we can all play together.
Yeah, it'd be. I personally prefer having everyone around for stories because I mean I don't like people missing it out on anything, even if it's little stuff, and then you come back like, so
Good chance I won't play Friday. With it going up to Washington.
Friday or Saturday, or we can even postpone, and I can get more stuff put together for you guys. I do plan on at least hosting this for at least the next couple of weeks, or at least a couple sessions, just to give everyone, all the other DMs, a good fair break, and to see if I actually like doing this. Zan. So no lie, like when I first saw the name, I thought it was Zatanna, and the entire time I wrote Abby's backstory, I wrote Zatanna in for her name, so that it's like permanently ingrained in my head. And then like yesterday when we were like making adjustments to her character Abraham, I'm like, oh, it's Zatanna, and I was like, oh, fuck. So I had to like go back and change everything, but it's still like permanently ingrained in my head.
All right. All right.
All
I
right.
will.
Yep. Thanks for playing. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah. All right. All right. Everyone should be back on the title screen. If everyone scrolls down to the bottom right of the map, you'll see South Arbor, Port Rat. You all are approximately, yeah, is where the circus was in the forest area. So geographically, you are where that yellow X is. Uh-huh. Oh, why the hell is there like a mini map in the center of it? Someone obviously put a freaking pink square on it. Weird. Yeah. Yeah, I made the mistake of like deleting everything that was in the recent added folder without putting it in its own folder, and it like wiped out everything I had. So I had to like go back and rebuild everything last night. But anyways, again, it's like at least timeline wise, for those that are curious, it's roughly 1,000 years after Saira transitioned into godhood. So if you all remember from Oceans 2, like the when she sundered the magic and Bensozia got sent to hell, roughly 1,000 years after that happened. Before the sundering, so uh, it's about 500 to 1,000 years before your thing happens, which then is another 1,000 years before it. So it's like 2,000 years before your guys' stuff happens. So there's not going to be any of like the automatons or any of that steampunk stuff. Maybe like some stuff will appear later on in the campaign, but as of now, it's strictly all high fantasy, but still same demographic and things like that. Like the Kamakurans are still being antisocial, orcs up in the north, things like that. Yep. All right. Again, any questions, ask. If you feel that you were shortchanged on your heritage trait, you can send me a message and I will maybe redo it.
I'll send you a message.
Yeah, I know I need to do your stuff.
You only get north. Next time you get left and right.
Yep. I'm looking at all your guys' Discord messages. You people. She's programmed with the most tragic backstory. And good old Barney Stinson. That is pretty much who Will's mentor is.
Alright.
Alright, fun
Good night,
stuff.
everyone.
Thanks for playing.
Good night.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys. Thanks.
Alright, and thanks to everyone who did turn in and enjoyed this very first session. We will possibly return again either Friday or Saturday in the coming week to continue on where everyone's at, and possibly a little bit more. I just gotta build some stuff during the week. So thanks for hanging out, and hope you enjoyed.